In my Minecraft hardcore world, I recently reached 500 days, so I thought I'd make a compilation of all the episodes on here, documenting basically all of the progress. And also behind me is a little spoiler for the next video. So I hope you enjoy. Let's get right into it. Hello and welcome back to the channel. So today we're starting a new hardcore world, and as you can see I've already started. If you want to see the progress, I did stream all of this, so you can go and watch it on the channel now. Anyway, so I'd like to start by giving you a little tour of what we've done so far. So over here we have a nice little field of flowers. I think it goes quite nicely, with a few custom birch trees going along beside it. And then we have a mud path leading up to our house. And this is what we've got going on. So we've got a couple of different layers, tower here, second layer here, bit to the side here, and also a few visitors around the back it seems. But we also have an interior of course. So here we have a nice little area where we have a log cutter. We have that, some hay bales stored for the winter, and here's our bedroom. We have a little fireplace with our pet dog. Let's just put him back on his little rug there, with our big bed, and a little crafting table of course. We go in here, we've got an area for all of our smelting, and we've also got a way up into the tower, which at the moment is a bit empty, which we'll probably fix later on in today's episode. And up here we have our storage. The general idea with this build is I was going for like a place that used to be very big and nice, but now it's become a bit overgrown and we've just decided to move in. And of course out back here we have a little potato field, and beside the sunflower and spruce field. But anyway, that's enough for this house. I might add in a little bit of a replay tour of it just now, while we go over to the village over here. And this is a village where I've set up a couple of farms. By a couple I mean 2 farms, but they are 2 very necessary ones. Over here we have a simple iron farm by an XO4. Just pumping out the iron, so we can use that a bit later on. And also over here we have this mound of dirt, as you can see, using some of that mud, a few rocks and stuff like that. But inside of this mound of dirt we have a load of villagers, as you can see. And it seems we're overrun with the villagers. And I decided to decorate this mound a tiny bit because right under here we have a villager breeder. You probably already guessed. Anyway, so I want to start this episode off by making a trading hall thing, as at the moment I don't have any diamond armor, only iron. So I think it's time we fix that. And I don't want to do just any trading hall, I want to do one that's a bit decorated. So let's maybe go down here so it's nice and close to the breeder. So we're just going to mine down a couple of blocks. Here we go, that should be good. Then mine up 3 blocks of that. We could quickly move this along one. There we go, and 3 blocks. And this is where a villager is going to go. And we can do that on all of these. Just need to extend this a bit further down. And some coal. I actually need a load as I spent all my coal already. So let's mine a load of this up. It's always nice in the early game when you find some ores. And that's all the coal mined after we mine these last 2 here. There we go. Now let's just fill in this area so we don't want any holes in our trading hall. There we go. And now let's continue doing this a bit longer. I think that should be long enough, so let's go back to the start here and continue this down on all of these blocks. And this is where we're going to put villagers, but we need some trapdoors to go under them, which we can do a bit later. that side done, so let's move on to this side now. And it seems we're going to have to actually raise the terrain a bit there. Let's continue on this side. And with this last one, we're now done. So let's go back up to the surface, and as you can see, we've got a load of holes in the ground. And we do need to quickly add a bit of there. And that's almost done. Just need to remove this house, as it's in the way of a couple of the holes here. Let's remove the entire thing quickly. And there, that's all finished, and now we've got these holes uncovered too. But now it's time to do a bit of decoration, as at the moment it's just a load of dirt down here. So, to start with, we need to remove these blocks, so that's where the workstation is going to be going. Let's quickly remove all of these. And now I'm going to remove these blocks here in between. So we'll need another shovel. Let's get our crafting table out there. Let's quickly craft one of those. I want to remove all of these and then replace them with some stripped birch logs. I think that'll look quite nice. Now that we've got all those birch logs in, I want to work on the ceiling, which I'm just going to use a couple of these blocks for. I think it could look quite nice if we did that. And we're almost at the end. Let's just keep placing these, and there we go. So this is what the general aesthetic's going to look like. We do need to rip out this floor and do something better with that. Now that we've got this area mined out, let's just come in with a little bit of this, some andesite again, like we did on the roof, and then also a bit of cobble, which we got a load of from the floor. This shouldn't take too long. And now I'm going to make a load of iron trap doors, and we'll need a few more. Let's count how many we need. 1, 2, 3, 12, 13. So we'll need 26 iron trapdoors in total. Let's come over here, and then we can get crafting. 26 actually, that's perfect. There we go. Now I have all trapdoors we need. We will have to sleep pretty soon though. But before we sleep, we can get a couple of these trapdoors in, and they just go here, and this is what the villagers will be standing on. And there are all the trapdoors in. And that is basically the villager trading hall done. Just need to get some workstations in now. And to start with, I want to make a fletching table, so we'll need some wood. Let's make that. And there we go. So now we can make a fletcher, which we can trade sticks with. So we can get one villager there, and then I also need to make a blast furnace. And for that we'll need to get a bit more iron from this farm. And then we can craft furnace, and we should be able to turn it into a blast furnace now. Oh, but we do need some smooth stone, so let's quickly put in 3 cobblestone, which we don't have. But we now do. Now we just need to do some smelting. And here are the 3 smooth stone we need, so let's just mine up that furnace. Now we should be able to make a blast furnace. And there we go. So let's just keep this for now, but we can actually put it down, maybe 1 over, and we can fill up starting from here. But I do want to add some, let's quickly turn these here into sticks. Then we can make a couple of ladders, there we go. Now if we just come in here, we can fill this up, and then instead place down some ladders, and also add in a trapdoor, which will just stop any villagers from trying to get down here, but we can still get down when we need to. To get the first villagers in, let's craft a boat, and then come into here in this corner. And now if we just row it up there, then we're stuck in here now. So let's try and get out. out if we can, which might be a bit of a challenge, because we've got to battle the current and all the villagers too. So go, and hopefully we can escape after we push this villager out of the way. We really have made too many villagers here. How will we get out of this? And we finally got to this corner down here where there are only a couple of baby villagers. So I think what we can do is we just come up here, battle the current, and then we can place a block there. Now no more villagers will be made and we can get out of here. There we go. And we're out. And of course let's put the coaster back. We do need to put this lid back on. There we go. And what's wrong with that villager? We may have to push this in with a piston. But unfortunately I don't think we can place this block back now. But as you can see, we now have 2 villagers. Let's turn hitboxes on and break the boats. Now they should, in theory, pathfind over to our workstations and ground. Hopefully. Just see where they go. It seemed we just had to remove the trapdoor because now they're easily pathfinding in here. Now we can just place a dirt block above their head. Now we just need to get this guy in, so let's just remove the trapdoor from here and then they should pathfind over here. Hopefully. And here he comes. And is it nighttime almost? No, it isn't. He should be pathfinding over there. We can probably lure him with another workstation if we go get one. So I just went and got the workstation from in there. And it seems he was pathfinding to this. So let's quickly remove that. Just some leather helmets. Don't need those. And let's try and lure him nearer to there. And hopefully this time he didn't go in search of some weird workstation. He is now pathfinding over here, I think. So hopefully he falls in the correct hole. And there we go. Perfectly in there. Now we've got 2 villagers in here. So we don't have any way to get emeralds at the moment. So we're going to have to go and chop down a couple of trees. After a bit of mining, we have a stack of oak blocks, but that's not all we will need, as we do need quite a few emeralds to level up our other villager, which will then trade iron. And after that, we can just use the iron farm to get emeralds. Our axe is broken though, so let's go into crafting table and craft another one. To do that, we'll need to make a couple of sticks, there we go, and now we can make another axe. Time to continue wood chopping. And with these last 2 logs, we're now up to 2 stacks. So I'm going to quickly collect those other 2 and head back, and then we can see how many emeralds we can get. So let's start off by turning all these into planks and then into sticks. So we can probably get a reasonable amount. Let's then transform them into emeralds, which could take a little while. But we've got plenty of sticks, but we've almost run out. Hopefully we can get enough emeralds, but then we can buy iron boots with them. And there, as you can see, there's P-bars going up. So we just need to keep on doing these trades until we've got this all the way up to the top. After another cycle of trading, we can now purchase a few more. Let's see if we can get enough. It seems we need 2 more emeralds. So let's see. How much will we need? We'll need another stack to get those 2 emeralds. Let's go and cut down some more trees. That should be enough wood, so let's then craft it into sticks, and yes, that's more than enough. We can get more than just 2 emeralds. Back down into the trading hall, and we can get all of the emeralds that we need. There we go. And buy the final set of iron boots. Now, this guy should have sold us iron. but it seems like this one isn't going to do that. So I guess we need to get another villager in. But this one won't be a blast furnace guy. Instead we'll be using a smithing table, that's the name. So we'll need to go and get a couple more logs now, as we needed quite a few more emeralds. This time I'll cut down some birch. We should have enough wood now to go back to the base and start converting these into emeralds. And now that we're here, let's craft all these into planks, and we'll need to craft a load of sticks. Don't have much inventory space unfortunately though, but luckily we get rid of sticks pretty quickly. And before we forget, let's craft a smithing table, and we can put it in that slot. I am now going to also make a grindstone, as we can use this to get the final villager we will need to get full diamond tools and armor. Okay, so this one will go as armor, this one will go as the axe and the shovel and the pickaxe and stuff, this one will go as the sword and axe. So let's go back here, and this time I won't make the same mistake of getting stuck in there. Instead I will quickly break this, put it there, and I'll just nudge it in from without getting in. And there. Now we've got two villagers here, and get them out, and they should both pathfind there, hopefully. And unfortunately this one seems, oh yeah, now it is. And turn hitboxes back off. It should now be pathfinding to the right hole. There we go. Let's just lock them in there and head down. I think I'm going to start with this one, so we just need a couple of stone shovels. Now I've been trading the rest of the sticks, so we've got plenty of emeralds. And one more, and there. You should be all done. Let's also throw those out. And there's the iron trade, so we can get loads of easy emeralds. Let's go to our iron farm and collect all of it. And here's all that lovely iron. We've got plenty in stock here. But before we do that, I'm going to make two more of these smithing tables, so they're the easiest to make, and also we can get the cheap 1 emerald shovels. So let's remove these two, and then we can get a few more villagers. And these villagers will be used as them. And off they go. And we just need to lock them in. Now it's time to get trading for all of this iron. And we've already got quite a few emeralds, so let's upgrade these. Which could take a bit of a time. There is one of them upgraded. Now it's time to do the other one. And here is that one upgraded. So let's throw all of these shovels out, and then we can get to trading with this one too. A load of emeralds. This one might restock. As you can see, we can get a load of good stuff from these guys, like pickaxes for now. And while we're at it, we might as well upgrade this guy with easy purchases here, and they both do the same amount of XP. Let's purchase a load of chainmail armor, and now he's upgraded to the next level. And now we can buy some chainmail helmets. There we go, and hopefully he'll start selling diamond armor now. And there it is, the first piece of diamond armor. And let's put that straight on for a bit more protection. Put our iron boots in here. I've now traded some more iron so we can make some leggings. There we go. And let's see, how much XP does that give? Not much, but it's only 1 emerald. So let's trade a load of these. And then we can get this up to the max level. Also need to trade some of these apparently, or just those. And there we go. He's now at the max level, so he'll trade the rest of the diamond armor. And these guys have also upgraded, so we've got a load of pickaxes we can now buy. So which one's the best one? I think we should probably buy this one as it's the cheapest. And we have 8 emeralds left. We can continue trading iron. And also upgrade this one, as at the moment he could be getting us some more emeralds, but unfortunately we have to continue upgrading it. And here we go, that one's fully upgraded, and now he'll also buy our iron. And now this one is selling all the diamond armor we need, so let's put that on. We still need a couple more emeralds before we can buy the helmet. The main problem now is that it's taking too long for the villagers to restock, so we're wasting time. So what I want to do is I want to get 4 more in these 4 holes, and we can start upgrading these ones. As you can tell from all of those items on the ground, we've fully upgraded all these. Well, not fully upgraded them, we've got them selling iron. So now we can get emeralds much quicker, as you can see. Unfortunately though, we are out of iron, so we'll have to wait for our iron farm. But we can buy the last piece of diamond armor. Now we're no longer iron. Also, need to upgrade this guy, so let's buy one of the axes, and that should be enough to upgrade him. There we go. And now we can get our diamond sword. I've got almost all of the tools other than a shovel, which we should be able to get. There we go. And now we've got full diamond. To speed up iron production, I'm going to build a second of these farms, as it's so simple that we can easily build 2. So I think I'm going to make it right here. Let's start by making the iron golem spawn area. And to do that, we just need a simple 5x9 area. It's 2 blocks deep. Now that we've got this hole, we should be able to turn these into path blocks, and I think that stops iron golems spawning. I'm pretty sure it does. And now we need a water bucket in each corner, so let's go and get the second one. And there we go, second one in. Now we just need to do a simple collection system here for all the drops produced by this farm. So let's just quickly mine out some space here. Then we can put a chest there and a hopper behind it. Now that it's almost night, it's time to work on the village a bit, so we need to dig down 7 blocks. Here we are. Now we need to dig a 3x3 room. That is all done successfully there. So let's add a slab or a trapdoor right there, and slabs on either side, and then add in 3 beds. And that's what the villagers are going to be sleeping in. But now let's dig a room for the zombie. Here it is, and let's put our boat in there. Now we're ready to trap a zombie, but we will first need to get up to the surface. Now we just add in some trapdoors right there. I think we should get the zombie in now. There's probably one nearby. Let's look for one. And there is a zombie up on that hill that we made earlier. So let's see. There he's pathfinding towards us. We should be able to get him in this hole. Just let him come over this way, and then lure him over here. He should fall in. Just like that. You can close that up behind him. And now get in the villagers. So let's just get these, and let's put some beds down. This is where all the villagers are going to go. Ooh, zombie. Got to be careful that we don't die. Anyway, so let's put all the beds down and get shot into Iron Golem kill chamber. Just got to get rid of that skeleton. There we go. So let's fix that up. And now quickly get rid of this creeper, which could be a bit dangerous. There are now 2 on us. There we go, got rid of that one. Got to get rid of that one. Didn't blow up, and there. 2 creepers gone. That Enderman picking up blocks. Now we need to get 3 villagers out, so we need 1 more boat. And there's a boat. Let's use these to get 2 villagers out. And oh, creeper! Whoa! was quick. Need to regenerate. Oh, we should have been a bit more careful there. Lucky it didn't instant kill us. Oh, good thing we've got that diamond armor. But anyway, now we've got them in the boat, so let's let them loose and hopefully we pathfind to the beds. And now, if we actually get this guy in the boat, drive him up here, then we'll get stuck in here again, won't we? Now we need to find a way out. There we go, back out and time to battle the currents. It seems the previous villager was zombified, so we'll have to be careful of that next time. But these two seem to be going in, so let's just wait for them to get in there fully, and then we can break the bed straight away. Whoa. That creeper came out of nowhere and got rid of one of our villagers. These creepers are not doing us any favours, are they? So let's put that there before the spider comes. Then one of them will go to sleep at least. There we go. And hopefully we can get one of them in. There. One of them is in. Now we just got to fix this creeper. One of them has wandered over here, so let's break that bed. Replace it, and here comes the second one. Hopefully we can get him in before the end of the night. Come on, into bed and break it. Now both of them are in, so let's close that up, and the iron farm is almost finished. Just need to add the killing bit. Here he is, so let's just put in our signs. If we can just nudge him out of the way there. Oh, that's in the wrong position. Just quickly nudge him, place one there, and one there. Now we just bring these out, and we do need to get rid of this guy quickly. We can place one in here. There we go. Get rid of all that writing. And it's all done. Now we just need to put the lava in there, which we can quickly get from this nearby ruined nether portal. It should still have a lava source, and yes it does. Let's grab one of those and head back. And now we just put the lava right there. And Iron Golem starts dying. And it should all come into this chest, which we already have some mob drops from ones that wandered in while we were building. But eventually this guy should die, then we get iron. Now we've got 2 iron farms working to get us iron for emeralds. And now, after gathering a couple of materials, a chest, 2 hoppers, some trapdoors which you got from making the villager training hall, and also that's basically it actually. Then it's time to go and make a spawner XP farm so we can get to enchanting our stuff. And using FreeCam, I found a spawner underground, and I think it's somewhere near here. It's not that one, it's a skeleton XP farm. So we'll go and look for that quickly again because I think I've lost it. One last thing that I did forget is we'll need a load of sticks quickly. Let's craft a couple more. There we go, so we can craft a load of ladders. That is probably enough, but we might need to come back for more. This is as good a place as any to dig down, so let's start digging. And while we go, I will place some ladders so we can get back up. And we've hit a cave now, it seems. Also, I had to craft a couple more of these ladders as I ran out almost. Anyway, so it seems we've hit a cave. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to block myself in here and then just continue digging down normally, as if nothing ever happened. Deep slate has been reached, so let's throw something out as I want to collect all the deep slate we can. Already had to throw out a lot of stuff from my inventory. We're nearing where we need to be. Oh, forgot to place ladders. This will be a bit annoying to get back up. I only have 13 ladders left, so let's hope they bring us all the way down to where we need to be. We should be pretty close. Yeah, almost here. I should have brought some torches with me, so back up to the surface to get a couple of torches. Now that I've got a couple of torches, it's time to get back here to the mine, where we can continue going down. And here is the cave, so how are we going to get down there without dying? Let's try and do a bed clutch. Hopefully we do it, and yes we did. So now we need to go in there and light that thing up as quickly as possible. So at the moment it'll just be spawning more skeletons. So let's put the torches in our hand and let's go in, all guns blazing. Oh, come on, fight yourselves. Come on, let's just get out of there. And then we can lock ourselves in here and watch them battle each other. So most of them are gone, other than that one, who we can quickly get rid of now. Let's just get rid of him, and then get rid of these two, which should be pretty easy. Just got to wait for him to go. Let's look at the chest. Oh nice, we've got 2 music discs and we've got 2 name tags, that's pretty nice. It's time to start, so we need to dig out this room a tiny bit. And also, straight away, I'm going to come straight in and put some blocks above the spawner. And start removing the roof there. And there's the roof done, and now we need to expand these walls 2 blocks out. So these need to go 2 blocks out, this one 1 block out, this one 2 blocks out, this one 1 block out. And there is most of the room mined out. Didn't mean to fall through there. Let's mine back up. There we go. But now we still need to lower the floor by 4 blocks. And it seems we'll have to do a bit of building, as well we've got a cave right below us. We now need some water, so let's hop up here, which is just over from our thing, and grab this water source to start with. And it seems our inventory is filled with other stuff, so let's throw that out and see where our bucket went to. It seems that the other water bucket was up here and it flung out into the hole cleared by the water. So now that we've got our 2 buckets, we can head back in here and close up behind us. Now we can make a little infinite water source here, which will get us all the water we need. Now we just need 1 water bucket in each corner, and then we just need to remove a few blocks here so that the water flows right over. Then we'll extend it down so the water flows right to the centre block. And now if we just remove these blocks here, then all the water will flow out, giving us this. This will push all the skeletons to this block. But before we go back down, I want to make a nether portal. So let's come to this little lava lake here near our village. And we can make a simple one using a water bucket. I've got to remember to do this correctly so we don't end up turning it all into obsidian. Now we should be able to just place the water right there and it'll flow in perfectly. There we go. Now we just place the lava buckets in and hopefully we don't mess it up. And now for the final block, I think if we just place it there, then we can do that. And there's a full nether portal. But I think now that we have a diamond pickaxe, we might as well just move it, so we kind of waste a bit of time there. Let's move this back to our base. So let's just place the nether portal right here in the ground. And finally we just need a flint and steel. So I went and got a bit of gravel from down in that lake, and let's try and see if we can get some flint. And there, we got a flint, so we can make flint and steel and go through. Let's hope we don't die here. I'm going to have my shield up as soon as we get through. And let's see what we're greeted with. Seems we're on a tree. Crimson Forest, this is one of the more dangerous biomes to be in. But I guess it's alright as long as we're careful. Looks like there's a fortress pretty nearby, which is good. But I want to get down to some of that source land, so let's search for a good patch. It seems that the best patch is over there, so we're going to have to bridge over, and while we go, also make these into path blocks, so that nothing spawns on them. Let's hope that there are no gas either. And we made it all the way down, and we just need one of these, because I don't want to stay near the lava for too long. Just take one of those and then get out of here again. Luckily we made it without falling into lava with the soul sap, and it's time to go back down into the caves to finish this up. Here we are, so let's replace that block with our soul sand we just got, and also take our signs here and place them on the walls. Now the water won't be able to get out. So we can just remove these bits, and then the water should flow in successfully. Just like that. So when we're pushed in, we're pushed up. Now we need to go up 22 blocks. We have now worked our way up to the right height. So let's go over one like that, and place down another side. And then we have to dig down. Ooh, found some lapis while digging down. This will come in useful when enchanting a bit later. Just realised I made a mistake. Need to move this channel down one block over. Right here should be the right place to mine down. And this is where we need to mine down to. So let's quickly go out by a few blocks. Do a bit of mining down here. And then I'm going to get my chest out, because we can put one set of chests there, then come in with a hopper here, do a set of chests here too. Actually place that one in the wrong direction. So let's place it in the right direction, there we go, and then also a hopper there. We can put a slab on top of that so the XP doesn't get stuck. Now we just need to mine out a little room here, as this is where we're going to be slicing at the skeletons. We will also need the cobblestone stair right there. There we go. And then if we place a block above our heads, then also a slab right there. Now keep the skeletons nice and trapped in that area. Now if we just dig a little bit out, then we'll have a nice room to AFK in. And now we have this room here, so we're going to place an enchant table there with books all around, so we can easily enchant whilst slicing at skeletons. Now we need to link it up to our little ladder. And we've finally reached the ladder. So now we can not do that, we need to pull up straight away, so no skeletons shoot us down. That was a bad idea. Anyway, now that we've got this area, this is where we can come down to remove the torches. But I've still got a load of chests here with stuff in them. I think I'm going to take the valuable stuff, like the gunpowder, name tags, and of course the music disc. I haven't forgotten that. I now want to quickly come back to the villagers where we can make one bookshelf and then make a lectern. And now it's time for some placing and replacing of this workstation. I've now got a good trade, so let's make a couple of books, and hopefully it hasn't reset yet, and just buy one mending book. Only 14 emeralds, which is pretty good. And now, as I do want one that sells me bookshelves, let's craft one more and make a couple more slabs so we can make another lectern. Now we need to get another villager in here. After quickly sleeping there, we're now officially on day 100, which is very cool. And we also got a silk touch book, so I've locked it in. Now I want to get a couple more emeralds so we can buy a few bookshelves. I've now traded a load of iron, so we should have enough to get 15 bookshelves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have to wait for it to restock, unfortunately. I've now traded for the 15 bookshelves. I am now going to come down here to our little mining cave that we've got. And there's a spider straight away. Whoa. No, we don't want to die here. No, we've got to be very careful here. Get rid of that spider straight away. Almost died. We want to try and find a couple of diamonds. That's all we need for today. Let's use our shield here. Oh, got rid of that. Let's regenerate some health. Now let's see if we can find just 2 diamonds. That's all we need for now. And over there is a diamond. Hopefully it's 2. Oh, skeleton. Got to be careful here. There we go. And got rid of it. Also a zombie. Visitors. That's nice. And also some floor diamonds. Now I'm just going to take these 2. It's just need 2, but we could come back later with fortune 3. And I think over there is our skeleton spawner. So let's just go in here, because you need to be over here anyway. Let's just come up here, mine in here, and here it is. Home sweet home, sort of. And now basically all we need to do is fill in the water there. And now that we're down here, we can make our enchanting table, put that there, and then put some bookshelves around. So those there, and then just those ones around there. Now we should be able to get level 30 enchants. There we go. And this area is basically done. Just got to fill that water elevator up with water. With the bubble elevator in now, we can remove these torches and they'll start spawning in. And hopefully they'll come and land around here. Just got a little passageway around to the killing chamber. And here they are. Landing perfectly in here, 1 hit kills. And we can collect all their loot in here. Last but not least today, I am going to quickly get a farmer villager that we can sell potatoes to. Let's see, here's one. So let's go get some potatoes from our house, maybe harvest our field, as I want to level him up to max so we can then get golden carrots. At that moment I have no food. In the end, I leveled the farmer villager up to the max. We got a load of pumpkin pies and also a load of golden carrots. So it's time to now do a bit of skeleton killing and also enchanting, which is why I brought a grindstone and anvil down. But anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye. As you saw from the start there, we went exploring for a little bit, also got 2 cats. But anyway, so what we got was a heart of the sea, and we also got some melons, jungle saplings, and some bamboo. And now we're here at a mangrove swamp to gather a bit of mud, as I'd like to use this for the pathways around our base. At the moment I don't have any, so let's do a bit of mining here to get a load. That should be enough mud for now, and if we need more we can come back. I've also collected a few propagules so that when we want to use mangrove, we've got a couple of them to make some trees. We are now back at the base, so we can take a load of this mud and just put it in this chest here. and also offload a load of other blocks I gathered on the way, like a load of mossy cobblestone from a tiger biome. And finally, let's come behind our house, where I've also set up a little sheep pen for wool. And then we can plant a few saplings, and this will be our tree farming area. So let's plant those jungle ones, and also a couple of these propagules. And these will give us some nice big mangrove trees. I now want to get started on the project for today, which, as you can tell from the title, is a creeper farm. But to make it, we'll need a little bit of space. So let's clear this area out here. Got a little bit of space now. Let's start marking it out. So I want to have the center of the farm here. It's going to be the 3x3 center. I'll have trapdoors all around. And then the walls will go like this. Let's start marking it out. This should be the shape of the farm, so let's go and get some more dirt so we can fill in the floor, as we've still got a couple of spots that need filling. And let's get started filling in all these gaps. This jungle tree has also grown, so I want to go and harvest this quickly. And that is all cut down, and hopefully we get a jungle sapling back, as it'd be quite a travel to get back to the jungle. I've now extended the ground down below, so we've got a nice platform to build this on. And I'm probably going to only do about 3 layers. And these center blocks are where the creepers are going to be falling. Let's quickly dig down a couple of blocks here. About to here should do. And then we can dig along there. That's where we're going to send the creepers off to, and where there's going to be a killing chamber. So now we need to dig this 3x3 out. And now we just need to put 2 buckets of water down there. And here is the second one in there. And now we've got a little area where the creepers will push down, and then they'll go along here. And now we just need to dig down a little bit here where the water stops, and here we're going to put some campfires which they'll die on. But for now we can leave that bit and get up to the surface, continue on the outside of the build. To start with, I'm going to replace these blocks down here with some jungle blocks. Now that we've got this layer of stripped logs, we can start building up. And for this, I'm going to do a bit of a randomization pattern using packed mud, mud bricks, and some more of these stripped logs, along with some planks. I think that would make a nice contrast or pattern. And there, as you can see, those blocks work pretty well together. And every now and again, very rarely, I'm going to add in a couple of these mud brick stairs to add a bit more depth to this build. The first layer is now done, so we just need to cover it up. And this will also be the floor for this second layer. So let's get all this dirt placed, other than in these central 9 blocks that creepers can fall down. We now have this floor on top, but we've now got dark patches down here, so let's go in on every side and just place a torch in here. That'll be temporary, we'll remove them later, but for now it means we don't get any creepers spawning in here. It's time to move on to the next floor. with this last divider in here, the second layer is now done. I thought I'd take the chance to drop down here and have a quick look at the build. And I think it's looking alright at the moment. Of course, we will add some more details on at the end. But at the moment, it's looking quite nice with this different pattern. But I am running out of materials, so we'll need to go and gather some more jungle logs. We now need to make the next layer of spawning platforms, but unfortunately we've run out of dirt, so it's time to break out the shovel and go dirt mining for a little bit. It shouldn't take too long, and we should now have enough dirt. So let's get placing it all back down. And that is all of dirt placed down, so it's time for the final layer of blocks. I have unfortunately almost run out of materials. I think it's back to the mangrove swamp, gather some more mud and also some more jungle logs from the jungle which is right next to it. But before we go, this time I'm going to clear my inventory a bit. On the way there are also these big spruce trees, so I think I'm going to mine a couple of these down to add a bit of decoration to the outside of the farm. And here is the tree all mined up. And now let's continue on with a reasonable amount of logs. And on the way I've also found one of these azalea trees, so let's try mining down quickly from the centre of 2 blocks of course and see if we can get a little bit of moss. And here's the entrance caves. Let's place down some water, and straight away there's a creeper, so let's get rid of that guy. And also a zombie, that frightened me. Got a shovel kill there. So let's get rid of all the mobs quickly, then we can get a few bits of moss. This will come in very useful for some terraforming later on. And while we're here we might as well gather a few glowberries, as they're also very nice. And now it's time to head out. We're about halfway to the mangrove swamp, and I thought I'd stop quickly to craft a hoe and then gather up these hay bales, as then we can create a load of packed mud with it. So at the moment I'm completely out of wheat. We're now at the jungle and it's time to get chopping again. And that's quite a bit of jungle wood. Enough stacks for now I think, and also a reasonable amount of saplings. So now it's time to head over the top of this hill over here to the mangrove swamp, where we can get to digging some of this mud. I'm now back home and I've dropped everything off, so now I want to breed these 2 cats. We need to let one stand I think, or let both of them stand, and then hopefully they should breed. Let's try feeding them again, and hopefully they give us a baby cat. There we go. Now let's make them sit again, and baby cat too. Now we can give him some, and then make them both stand. And then those should breed too, hopefully. And now it's time to do the final few layers on this farm. Now that that layer is done, it is time to add in the dirt dividers in between. And now it's time to work on the roof. So I think I want to do a pretty standard roof. So we'll need a few more bricks. There we go, a couple more of those. And then I think I'm just going to build it up a bit here. And then eventually we'll have a nice shape to the roof. I've now got this nice roof shape in, but I want to come in on the sides and put in all the trap doors now. Well, not all of them, as we'll need quite a few to go on the inside, but just the ones around the edge here, which we can put in pretty easily. And we've just got to do this on all 3 layers. And finally, we need some blocks in the middle that the creepers will pathfind to. And after surrounding them with trapdoors, it's now ready. But we do have to add trapdoors on the roof of each of these rooms. But for now, I'm going to continue with the roof here, because at the moment it's all just open to the sky. So let's get to adding some roof on here. I've now added the final roof on here, and now I'd like to start on what's going to be the actual roof. So we can start by putting just a couple of dirt blocks, and it's not going to stay as dirt, so don't worry about that. I'm going to change it up, but for now it will be dirt, and we'll magically transform it into a better looking block. I've now added in a roof, so it's time to change it out from dirt. Of course, it won't be staying as dirt. Let's put in a moss block there. Now we need to head down and get some bone meal. And it seems like some pillagers have come to meet us. So what I think I'm going to do is just trap the leader one in a boat. There we go. And now we can get rid of the other ones. It shouldn't be too hard. And now that we have this single pillager, let's just make a little area for the boat to go in, which will protect us too. And then we can pacify this guy. I think the pillager has now been pacified, but the bow still renders in, but it's not shooting any arrows anymore. I think it's been pacified now. And now we can just come up here and bone meal a load of this moss. And we just keep going until all of the roof has been done. Now that we've mossified the roof, it's time to put on some walls here and add a bit more decoration by coming on the tops and adding a few fence gates. And now all the fence gates and walls are in, so let's drop down here and let's take a look at it. And that is what it looks like for now. I think I am going to come onto the roof and I'm going to add a bit of mossy cobblestone. And after adding a few patches of mossy cobblestone, the roof is looking nice and detailed. So inside the creep farm is not ready yet, as we still need to add in a load of trapdoors. And after getting the trapdoors from the iron farm, it's time to place them all down inside here. We now need to add in the killing bit, which we can do with a couple of campfires on top of hoppers. And then we just lay out a carpet pattern like this so that only creepers can spawn, we don't get any spiders in our farm. It's now time to get the cats in, so let's unzip one of them and try and get it in. I've got one of the cats up here. Now what I'm going to do, just carefully nudge the little cat over and then drop it down that hole. And then what we can do is we can drop down, or we should have gone to the previous layer. Make sure it's fully nudged on there. I think that cat's fully on. And then we go up to the next layer here. And what we can do is we just fill in the floor quickly. So we put the trapdoor back, that back, and carpet. Then we can get another one from the same hole. Here is the second one almost in. And now let's just nudge the third one in place. And then that's it for this side. Now we need to move on to the other side. To do that, I'm just going to flip all these trapdoors up like this. Then we can do the same on these sides. Here is a trident guy I've found. Let's see if we can get a trident maybe. We might be able to get one. And I don't think the trident dropped, unfortunately. Maybe next time we see one. After adding a little AFK spot in the air, the creeper farm is now finished and working. So let's go and look at what we've got, as I AFK'd for about 2 days. And we got almost 18 stacks. That's very nice for a relatively small and cheap farm. But now I want to complete this a bit more, adding some spruce in. So I think we'll probably add in a few spruce windows, and maybe also try out adding some spruce logs in here, which will also strip, of course. Let's have a look at what this looks like quickly. Does that look alright? And yes, I think that looks alright. So now we'll just go along stripping these. I now want to come in and add a small window right here. On every side we will have it. So let's just start with this side. Let's just remove a little area here. We've got a clogged inventory too, which isn't good, so let's throw some stuff out. And now that that's not clogged, I think I'm going to fill this area in with some mud now, as that'll be a nice contrast block. And now let's just decorate this bit around this kind of window, because there's no actual glass here. It's like that shape of a window, as we can't have an actual window because of the light level inside. But at least we can make a nice window shape thing. And after adding some stairs in the corner here, it should be done. Let's have a quick look at that and see if it looks alright. And I think that does look okay. So now let's do this on all 4 sides. And there is the second one done. I'm now going to head back to Nether quickly, as I want to get a couple of quartz bits and better put our shield on there. Oh, zombie pigment straight away. And it seems there are already these guys for some reason. Okay, let's try and knock them off. There we go. And also I probably should have my sword out. Now let's see where we can get quartz easily. I think there's lava straight down there. We don't want to get knocked off there. Where can we get down to get quartz? You just drop down there. Okay. Got to be careful now. Make sure that none of the hoglins catch up to us, so that would be bad. I think we're relatively safe in here, hopefully. So let's just get some blocks. That will do. And I don't think there are any hoglins up here. Only maybe one. And we can just run over here and gather some quartz peacefully now that we're out of the Crimson Forest. I've now gathered enough quartz, so it's time to head back to the portal, and I think it'd be easiest to just get there through the treetops, as then we don't have to worry about the piglins and stuff like that. And we're back at the portal, so let's go through. And it seems this guy's crossbow has disappeared, which is cool. And now we can make this micro wheat farm, and there's a little bit of tilled soil in there where we plant wheat. So we do need to fill up all the dispensers, so that won't help. But could fill them all up. I went to our skeleton spawner to get all of the bones. And start it, all we have to do is double click that lever and start clicking. And as you can see, getting plenty of wheat. So you can press F3 and T and now we'll auto-click for us, hopefully. And there we go, automatic wheat farm. After running it for about a minute, we've now used up quite a bit of bone meal. We've got plenty of wheat, and also a load of seeds, so I want to use them to plant a wheat field around this. So at the moment it's just a box in the middle of a field. So let's first add in some mud around here, so it's at least a bit decorated in itself. And then what we can do is start hoeing the ground and plant the field. It is now day 200 and I think it is finally done. So to start with, I've taken this pathway we've got here and I've extended it a little bit. So let's first go along this route. Along here we've got a few torches. This goes around the building all the way to this trapdoor leading to our shulk farm, to our gunpowder farm, where we can get all of our nice gunpowder. Then we can just come back up. And this jungle trapdoor blends in very well with the path, so we could just continue right over here. And then, if we go back down this path here, then we can take this turn. This leads us to the wheat farm deco. And yes, this is a bit over the top, I know. We could have just had the wheat farm underground or something, but I decided to do an entire wheat field for it. So now we've got this little dirt mound in centre, which we can just turn on like that and then use. So we'll use that probably in the future. And then we've just got a dirt path going through the wheat field. And around the edges, I decided to go for mossy cobblestone and cobblestone border, which separates it nicely from this grass here. And now the world's really starting to feel a bit more connected with all these different fields. We've got a birch tree field here and flower field there, and then this here. And I think next I'm going to work somewhere in that area. And now I think it's time for a nice shaders replay mod walkthrough. Hello and welcome back to the hardcore world, and today we're going to start by robbing our own house by taking this grindstone quickly, as today's project will be quite far away from our base. Anyway, so last episode we created this nice little wheat field here, which I just broke. Let's fix that quickly. We can get plenty of wheat. We also got a creeper farm, so we can maybe get netherite pretty soon with TNT. However, at the moment, I'm still very susceptible to dying, as I don't have any totems yet. So I think it's finally time that we make a raid run. And to start with, I'm going to head over this direction, as there is a spruce forest over here, which is slowly loading into view up on those hills over there. It's going to go over there because there's also a tiger biome where we can get loads of mossy cobblestone. Now that we're here at the tiger biome, we can gather up a load of this mossy cobblestone, which is just here on the ground. there are some pretty big lumps of it. I have now done some travelling, and I've made it to a villager outpost here, because there I want to build a raid farm. And I've already started, as you can see, so this is where we're going to have a villager, and down here is where the killing chamber will be. And the wandering trader decided to spawn, so let's see what it has. Don't think there's anything good that we really need from it. And I don't have any emeralds anyway, so let's offload a load of junk into there. And I think we might as well get a couple of leads, I guess. And there we go, 2 leads. So let's have a quick sleep and we can continue with this farm. So on the way I also found a couple of things, as you saw. I found some dark oak wood. I also harvested a few azalea leaves. And I did forget iron for this farm to make hoppers. So we'll have to make 3 of them quickly here. 3 of them, there we go. With some iron I harvested. And now let's drop down. Hopefully we can do a water bucket clutch, and we missed. But luckily we have feather falling. This is going to be the collection where they drop down onto. And now we need to place in some slabs like this around the edge. And now we can place the water in the correct spots here around the outside. So before we put down any more water, we need to get a villager in. So let's go to the village over here and try and get one. This guy looks like a good candidate, so let's take his workstation and we can lure him with it all the way to where we want to. So hopefully he should pathfind to this workstation here. And here he comes, looking for it, and we're just going to break it. And we can keep on doing this until we get to the farm. And he should keep pathfinding. And I've lured him over here, so let's break that. And I've put the other workstation down here in this hole, so he should pathfind in. Should just drop himself down, hopefully. If not, we can just push him, maybe. Or we could let the water push him. There we go. Get on in there. There we go. Now that the water pushed him in, hopefully we can just nudge him into that hole and put a block over his head. And that is that room done. Let's just put a torch in there for the villager. And then we can block this up. So we are out of dirt blocks. Let's go in here, get some more, and block this all the way up. The farm should now be ready to try out, other than that we need a couple of fence gates and some lava to get rid of the ravagers. So let's do that, and we should be able to put a fence gate here, and then go in there. And then we need to put 1 fence gate all around, and this will contain the lava. Then we can come to this nearby lava pool and get 1 block of lava, which we can place right in the middle of there, and that will get rid of any ravagers. Now I think it's time to run the farm and see if we can get a couple of totems. And to do that, we'll need to come over to this villager outpost and try and get Bad Omen. But before we do that, I want to actually go in, see if we can get any loot here. As you can sometimes get goat horns. And I wonder if we can get one here. Let's go up. And no goat horn, unfortunately. But we can hopefully find a few of these things to kill. And hopefully one of them has a banner on them. They'll just keep spawning in. We can now get Bad Omen here, and hopefully, there we go, we've got Bad Omen. So now let's just approach our farm here, and the raid has started. So let's go down our little track here. And now if we swipe at their feet, then it should be the raid almost beaten. It seems I built here a bit too close to the villager outpost, so we're going to have to dig in here and get rid of the villager. And then now stop the raid. While digging the staircase up to the surface, I found this zombie spawner right here, which is quite nice. And in it, I broke the spawner already, and we've found notch apple, which is very cool. So we've got that there, and another golden apple for us. So let's throw stuff out. I think I'm going to get this saddle, as I kind of want to get a horse pretty soon. I have now finished moving the farm over a bit, so now it should be far enough away from the outpost. Now it's time to go over there to get some bad omen again. Here we go, here's one of the bad omen guys, so let's kill him and head over. And hopefully it works this time, so that they don't come and follow me and join in the raid. So we should be nearing it now. Here we go. And it seems some of us should have followed us, but that's fine. Hopefully none follow us once we're in. Let's just go in here. We've got the staircase down. And it seems that they are ending up down here. So hopefully we can get rid of that guy. There we go. And hopefully all of them come down. And that wave has been completed, so let's go on to the next wave. And this is the last one of the second wave. No totems yet, but we are getting a couple of emeralds. And here is the end of the third wave, or should be if the last one comes down. And here is the last one. Now we're on to the third wave, I think. The fourth wave is now starting. This is the last mob of the fourth wave, now we're on to the fifth, and I think this is also the final wave. And the focus should be dropping soon, so we've got to be careful here, and make sure we hit it immediately. If not, at least we have the boats to protect us from Vexes. I think the Voker just dropped and died, so we have got one totem here, so let's put that in our offhand. One of the raiders, it seems, got stuck down here, so we'll have to come and finish him off manually with a few hits of the sword. Now we've got to get back as quickly as we can. Here we are, coming down the stairwell, and there's another Voker there, so let's get rid of that. Now we can continue with the wave. And that's raid victory, and from that last wave I think we got 3 totems. Let's see. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. I think I'm going to complete one more raid so we can get a couple more totems, as this is quite far away from my base, so having a few would be quite nice. I don't have to come back here for a long time. Here comes a banner guy, so let's let him come to us quickly and then get rid of him. There we go. Now we can head back to the farm, and I'm just going to do a level 1 raid so I get 5 totems again. I don't really have space anymore. As we approach, as it's just over this hill, you'll see I've also decorated it a tiny bit. So I've got a few rocks and also a bit of moss around it. Anyway, let's go all the way down. Here is the first wave finished. After completing another raid, we now have a load of totems bring home, and also quite a few emeralds, so it's time to head back, as we've got quite a journey home still. In today's episode of Hardcore Minecraft, we are making a massive medieval village in order to store farms and villages and other stuff like that. And I think it turned out pretty well, so let's get right into how we made it. Hey, welcome back. And you better go click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Go make it great. But anyway, so last episode I left us on cliffhanger, as I hadn't made it all the way back to base, but I've made it back now, with all the totems safely here. So now I want to go and, well, first we'll have a quick nap here. There's nice sun. Let's have a quick nap and then we can get on with it. So, pick our bed. Now we're going to go over to the villager area, as I'm kind of running out of food. These are the last 24 golden carrots I own, and that is kind of bad. So while Hero Village is still applied, I'm going to hop down here. I'm going to use some of the emeralds from the raid farm buy a couple of golden carrots. And hopefully we can get up to a good amount of food. That should be enough golden carrots. Let's pull the extra emeralds in this chest. Now let me introduce you to my new friend Donkey over here. And also this weird sign who has invaded our property. Let's just quickly get rid of him. Anyway, so I want to add on some chests so we can have some more storage. Maybe use them to go gathering materials at some point. Let's go into our wood chest, which we've got plenty of wood in. And we can get just 2 logs, which we can use to make some chests at the craft table. So here we go, chests. And now we can hop in here with all the animals, and we should be able to, there we go, attach it. Now we've got loads of extra inventory space for when we're off on adventures. But now let's get on to what we're doing in today's episode, and that is making this area which we've got here into a proper village, as we've already got 2 houses, a couple of fields. It's not a proper village yet, so I want to turn it into one. And to do that we'll need a couple more houses, which is what we're going to build today. I think I'm going to start by doing some outlines. Here is the first house. It's a nice sort of diagonal one, which gives it a bit of variation from the normal square houses. And now I think I want to come over here. Maybe do a small tower here maybe. While Hero Village is wearing off, the tower shape is now in there. So now I think let's go and maybe build over on that bit over there, this little hill here. Let's maybe do a more square one, but still we want to add a bit of variation in here. And also think about pathways. I kind of want to have a pathway going down here. So I'm going to leave some space for that. We want to get a nice shape in here. For this one I've gone for a more classic shape of like the rectangle with a smaller rectangle offside. And now there's still this big gap here, so I think I'm going to come in maybe with some dirt and make a sort of well area here. Luckily we have a load of dirt in our chest. And now we can get to doing a bit of terraforming, so I think I'm going to bring it all up to this level. We can follow the natural curve of the land here. I have now completed the layout for our city here, so we've got a few buildings up here, and I've extended it around. This is going to be the border on the actual village here, and then I've got one here, recessed into the hill a bit, so I'll have to do some terraforming. And then I decided for the border here I'm going to add like a retaining wall to keep back, as I couldn't really find a good way other than extending the train all the way down to almost in there, which wouldn't really work that well. Then we've got a few smaller houses, and I did run out of deep slate, which is why I used tuff here. This is where this path will come around to, and maybe go through here connecting to the village path. But now it's time to start gathering materials, so I know I want to use quite a bit of this jungle wood, and also quite a bit of this dark oak wood, as it's quite a nice block and I don't think I've used any of this recently, so I think it'd be a good chance to use some. I think that's enough wood gathering for now, as we've got quite a bit of mangrove wood for how hard it is to gather. reasonable amount of dark oak, and enough of jungle. So let's go down into caves, gather some deep slate. And while we're here, we might as well gather some of the copper, as I may use it for a couple of roofs, but it's very expensive. When caving for copper, scaffolding is really your best friend, as you can easily use it to get up to the high places on the roof where there might be some copper. And then you can also easily get rid of it when you're done. I now have an entire inventory's worth of copper, so let's craft it into blocks, and then we can continue mining. While mining some copper, I've also found some diamonds, which is nice, so let's mine these up. And for some reason I'm getting the advancement again, because for some reason all my advancements reset for some reason. If you know why, tell me in the comments. And also while you're down there, why not subscribe? If we quickly craft all of those blocks up, then we can get to mining some of this. So let's get to mining. With an entire inventory full, I think it's time to head back up to the surface. Now that I've dropped all of that off, it's time to get back down into the cave so we can gather some deep slate, tuff, andesite, and all the other stuff. And down in the cave you can get started, and of course when I say deep slate I mean the cobbled deep slate. I now have a load of deep slate, so it's time to head out. I've also dug a pretty big room here, but luckily we have a little exit over here. I now want to come back up to the surface so we can gather a bit of spruce wood, and maybe also some oak. I now want to get building as we have a reasonable amount of materials gathered in these chests, so I think it's time to get started. And to start with, let's pick a house to build. So I think I'd like to work my way around in a kind of loop around this area. So we can start with this house. Or actually, let's start with this house. This is a pretty small one to set this out. So let's see what we can do. For this house, I think I'm going to start with a similar style to my normal base, as you can see. And I want to go for some oak walls. So we'll just pillar up on all the corners, and then we can maybe fill in the walls with some planks. That looks pretty good, so let's now add in a couple of windows every now and again to make a little bit of detail in this otherwise pretty plain box. Now we've got that, I want to move on to the roof. So up here, I think I'm going to do a deep slate rim. So let's go back to our house to get some deep slate blocks. Now that we're up here, let's place them in a pretty standard rim around the house. And then when we get up to this side, I kind of want to do a slightly steeper than usual roof. So let's maybe go up by a full block there. We can do another one like that. Then bring it into the center. And there's the roof shape. So I think that's a pretty good roof shape. And adds a bit of detail to otherwise pretty standard build. After adding it on the other side, let's shape a roof. So let's fill this in with maybe dark oak wood. I haven't actually used that and I kind of want to use some. So let's go get some dark oak wood. That's exactly what we need. And actually I'm going to try a new roof pattern. So let's also unload a few things we don't really need at the moment. And then we can go and make a couple of planks. So let's maybe put 16 of these in. And then we can make some stairs and stuff. So I want to make quite a few stairs. We'll need a lot for this build. 32, we'll need a few more. So let's make as many as we can for now. And now let's fill this area in. And they're of course messed up as this is meant to be a full block. So I'm going to use the stripped logs for that. And then we can do the stairs on top. And with this next row, I think I'm going to show you what I want to try out. And that's putting in some of these mangrove roots into the roof. See what that does. I wonder if that'll look good. So there's no better way to find out other than to continue building. After adding some final touches like trapdoors around any windows we have, and that's in the wrong place, the house should be done. And the house is done, and I think it looks pretty good. And this is just a small house to start off with. Now we're on to a slightly bigger one, and I want to go with a different colour palette with this one, so let's go get some blocks. So to start with, let's get our pickaxe out. Let's take our silk touch one, there we go. And then we can start by bringing this up a couple of blocks in each of the corners. Now that we've got the corners in, let's strip them. And then I think I'm going to time lapse this build. It's now day 250 and I've finished this house over here. So let's drop down quickly, take a look. So I've added a little bit of decoration on the outside to detail it. But mainly we're moving on to another structure. This one's going to be a tower. Let's get started on this. And here is our tower, all done and in the world. So as you can see, it's looking nice and tall there. But from up here on the roof of other building, it's looking even nicer. So let's go check it out. As you can see, I used the same block palette as I did for this building, using the mud bricks and that lovely jungle wood. And then at the top, I've used some copper blocks, as you can see, and a load of, I think that is granite. I think I got that one right. All these stone types are so confusing. And then of course I used that roof using dark oak and mangrove roots, same as I did over on that roof. And I think it turned out pretty well. So let's quickly head down. so that I can show you this little build around the corner. This is just behind this build, the tower, and the other one that we just made. And I think it looks pretty nice. This is more just to make it feel less like it's a big line surrounding the field, as before it was. I think it turned out pretty well. This is probably one of my favourite builds so far, other than this one, which is probably my favourite. But this one is turned out very well, I think. They decided to use scaffolding in the windows rather than gas, just to change it up a bit. Also, I think I'm going to add on one more window here, just because it was looking a bit empty on this side. And all the upper windows I have used glass still though. So that's that. But now I want to come in and remove this layout we've got here for the house. So instead of putting a house here, I want to put a custom tree in. As at the moment we've got a lot of these buildings and it's quite harsh, there isn't much plant life separating it, so I think a custom tree would really help. To start with, I think I'm going to build up the trunk, so I think the center is going to probably be maybe here. So this is going to be the main trunk of a tree, and of course we want a couple of branches coming off here. I think that should do. We can maybe add one fence there. That'll do for the lower part of the tree. Now if we get a water bucket, we can go up to this higher portion. And here I'm going to go up a few blocks, and then we can maybe start bringing the branches out. I've now got a nice branch structure, so I can come in with some of these fences, and I haven't got many. I'll just dot them every now and again around at the end of these branches, just to make it a little more detailed. It seems we have a couple of visitors, so let's just eliminate them quickly using our trusty sword. There we go, and for this one I've got slightly different treatment. There we go. Nothing ever happened here. Now I just need to figure a way to get out of this hole. We can now come into the forest with our shears and do a bit of leaf mining. With the leaves acquired, it's time to apply them to the tree. So let's just give it a good old sprinkling. After adding in all of the leaves and also this little border around it, we have this really nice custom tree here, which I think really adds to this area. And then we've also got this build behind us. And this is our new house that we've got here. And I think it turned out pretty well, so I decided to use some campfires here. Of course, no interior yet, we can do that later. None of these have interiors yet. But as you can see, it's got a slightly different shape to the usual boxes that we have. And I've also gone for a different colour palette. So I really like this one, as it's different from the other ones and it changes it up a bit. And this is probably my favourite now, though also the tower I rather like. But anyway, I'd now like to move on to this house up here on this hill and see what we can do here. I think I'm going to start with this shape, so we'll have one roof line there, one roof line running down here, and then another roof going across this corner. So let's go into a quick time lapse to build this. I think with that the house is done, and this one stands out quite a bit with its very different colours, with bright red and mangrove planks, and also a few mangrove logs mixed in, like right here. That has a tiny bit of texture. Then of course we've got the same windows as all the other houses, and a nice door, and I think it turned out pretty well with a very nice shape. And from up here on this other roof, the shape really comes out, and as you can see it's pretty unique with two different houses almost combined into one. And then from this angle it's also pretty interesting, and yes, I did do the back here. So in total we've got a very nice shape here. To continue working our way around this field and house in the centre, I think I'm going to work on this house next. Let's start by putting in some pillar support. With some supports now in, we can get to building, and I actually want to remove this bottom layer here quickly, as I didn't do that for the past two houses, as I think it fits a bit better. But for this one I am going to remove it again. And here is the build. After that time lapse, I did come in and add in a few details like the windows, and also bone milled some ground around it, and around a few other places, just to kind of border it off from the bit that we're not going to be building on for now. So we've got this little house tucked away in here, and of course no interior yet, but we've got plenty of space when we do come to doing the interior. But anyway, now I'd like to turn the attention to this bit, and this is where it kind of borders onto the village. And as you can see, I've made this kind of shape here already. And this is because I want to do like a retaining wall around here. And I want to now bring it all the way across here. Just follow this line all the way here, connect it up, and then we can have a pathway going along beside it, which will run down here, pathway will run round and along here. So we get a nice path to follow. For this, I think I'm going to use some jungle wood, as I've got quite a bit of it, and I think it looks pretty nice for this use. And of course I'm going to strip it, we're not just going to be leaving it as it is. So let's go around now, adding in this around it, and any bits like this we'll just extend it all the way to the bottom. And any flowers and grass we can just remove. Here is the wall, and now we just need to come in and strip all of these logs. Now that we've got all that done, we just need to fill this layer in so it's all flat. And then we can maybe make a custom tree in this area. With a custom tree in, which is basically the same as that, just this one is a bit taller and slightly bigger. We've now completed this area. I also added a few bushes, and I also built this house up here. This is just a simple small one, so I did it pretty quickly. And as you can see, it fits in quite nicely, and this is where the road will run through. So now I like to move on to this one. Then we've got one more house before I can call this project done. And here it is, the finished house, and it fits in pretty nicely in here. Maybe a bit close, but I think it's alright for now. And as you can see, this is a bit different in colour, and it's quite a bit taller than the rest, but I think it works pretty nicely with birch and the oak, and also azalea. This is one of the nicer ones in this village. And now it's time to move on to the final house. So as you can see, I've marked out some spots. This is where we're going to put some support pillars, and we're going to be doing the same kind of pattern as we've got here for the creeper farm decoration. So anyway, let's get right into building this one up. And there is the house, other than the door, which I seem to have forgotten, but this is another reasonably big house, and I think it turned out pretty well, but I'm not so sure about that roof being much lighter than the rest of the build. I think it suits it kind of nicely. And that's basically it, so I went for the same block palette as we have on that build. As on all the rest, I've been using more woods, and as you can see from these couple of builds, I thought I'd bring it back from that tower over there, and use the same kind of pattern as in here as well. But now I want to extend these pathways, So at the moment, we've just got one leading up here, just ends. I want to bring it all the way around, and I want to have it trace through this village and follow this curve I've got here. So I've left a gap for that purpose. Then here I'm going to have a sort of town square, so I'm going to have a lot more pathway here. And then we can maybe continue extending it along this way. But to do that, I'll need some more mud. So it's time to go back to Mangrove Swamp, and I've cleared my inventory a bit so we can gather plenty of it up. Now that we're back home with a load of mud in our inventory, it's time to get a bit of wheat. As to make mud bricks and packed mud, we'll need more than that. So let's take some of our wheat seeds and go over to our micro wheat farm to get some more. Here we go, just through the field, and then we can just flick that and start bone mealing. And we should be getting wheat pretty soon. Now that we have plenty of mud and also wheat, we can take some of the wheat out and also some mud and convert it into packed mud. We'll need quite a bit of this for our pathways, as we've got quite a few of them in this village that we're making. Now we just need to make some more of these pathways. So I think I'm going to start by having one extend down this way, so we'll continue this pathway down here. So let's start going along here. Now have this really nice path installed here, and by the way, this has taken me about a week so far to build all of this, so if you're liking it so far, you might as well subscribe. But anyway, so these pathways aren't quite finished, as you can probably tell, as you still need to add in some coarse dirt, so let's go and make some of that. I've now gone into the caves and got a load of gravel, so let's go up and take a bit of dirt from our chests, and we've got quite a bit, so that shouldn't be too much of a struggle. There we go, and now we can make plenty of coarse dirt, just like that. Now we just need to add it on the edges of these paths, so let's get placing. After adding in a few torches, it is now day 300, and I think we are finally done with this village. So let's turn on the shaders quickly. Here we go. Turn on the shaders like that. This will decrease our frames, but we'll still be able to play. And let's have an explore around it. So we have first house we built, pretty dark, so I think I'm going to put a torch there to light up a bit. Let's follow the path down here. This is still day 300, so we've officially survived 300 days building a village in hardcore Minecraft. To keep following, we have all these houses down here going around the wheat field. Another custom tree. I think I'm going to add one more of these little lampposts here. Let's add one here like that. There we go. The frame rate isn't the best. Let's keep following down this path. And this is the final build. And I think it turned out pretty nicely. So that's going to be all for today. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to subscribe. I'm currently in very low supply of wood, so I thought I'd fix that today by making a tree farm. So for this we're going to be using ENXO4's tree farm, and then I've modified it slightly so it's easier to decorate. Basically, all that I did was made it a bit shorter, as before it was pretty high. So it will be slightly less in its functionalities, but it'll still work for what we need it for. Let's get right into the video. To start with, we'll need a couple of materials for this. And the best place to get this is from my storage. So I have a load of logs already here, which we can use for stuff like chests and hoppers. We'll need quite a few chests and hoppers and stuff like that. So let's take as many as we can get. We now have a load of chests. However, we need to still convert a load of these into hoppers. And I think we need half a stack of hoppers. Just checked and we need 33. We're now on to the redstone items which we need to gather. However, I don't really have enough redstone at the moment, so it's time to go down into the caves and see if we can get some more. After getting that redstone, we can craft some repeaters, some observers, a couple of pistons, and a couple of droppers. After gathering a couple of miscellaneous materials, we're now over in Nether, as we need a couple of bits of soul sand. So let's quickly come down here. And I think there's a route all the way down to where we can get some. Somewhere around here. And I think it's just down here. Yeah, here we go. And down here is where I got a little bit of soul sand for the skeleton farm. So I'm just going to get a little bit more now. Just need some for this tree farm that we're building. 5 blocks should be good, and I don't think I'll need any more for a while at least. By then we probably won't have to come and get only little bits at a time. So we'll probably have an elytra, so it'll be easier. And safely back into the portal. And for some reason there's a sheep and chicken in here. I have no idea why they are here. So might as well do what this sign says. The final material I need is 1 piece of TNT for the duper. I've now placed in a schematic of a farm in the world, and as you can see it's pretty small for a tree farm. And this is basically all we need to build, so I've added on a little storage system and a little bit for bone meal onto it. And then of course the main modification I made was I made it a bit shorter. And there is actually a schematic for this if you want it in ENXO4's Discord, so I'll leave a link to that in the description. But anyways, let's get to building. To start with, I've marked this area out, and we need to fill this in quickly and make it a square. Here we have it, and now now we need to place in water in all the corners. And there we have all the water in. And now we've still got this centre bit here, so we'll have to dig it out because water needs to come down here too. We now need to quickly replace that block there with an upside down stair. And below here is where all the items are going to fall. So let's quickly go down ourselves, then we can place that back. Now we need to move along here to where the water stream up is going to be. So I think it should be right above us there. There we go. And now we just need one sign there. And also a water bucket right there. And now this is where we're going to have the soul sand to boost all the items up. I've made this quick little pond over here so we can have an infinite water source nearby. And then we can quickly fill up this water elevator. And there we go. Now we have a nice water elevator up here, and this is where all items are going to travel. We now need to add in some chests for storage. So let's just extend these chests out to there. Then we can put some hoppers below them. And then make a number of chests, I think. Now, to make it double speed, we'll start by putting some hoppers back here, some up on the top, and then some facing into those at the top. And now this will put items in at double speed. I've now built this little bit up here, and this is where the water stream is going to come up to. So now we can place a trapdoor at the end, so we need to take our signs and place them along the length of this, and also on this side, and this will stop the water from escaping. Finally, it's time to add in all the water, and here's the last bucket, and there goes all the way to the end, and it seems I missed the sign. Here we go, the final sign, and now the water stream collection is finished. We just need to add in a grey carpet right here. Doesn't have to be grey, but I think it fits the theme quite nicely. It's now time to do the bone meal dispensing, so we're just going to simply have a little pressure plate here, which will activate the dispenser or dropper here. And then what we need is an observer on top of it, so that will observe when it fires. And this piece of dust will quasi-power the dropper. So now that we've done that, we need to fill this in and also add in some hoppers around here. And these all feed in there. And just realised I placed that one in the wrong spot. We actually need it facing in there. And now we can place in some chests like this, and this is going to be the bone meal storage. It's now time to start placing scaffolding. So we need one there, but we need to build up 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And now it's time to do the clock. So we just need a couple of these repeaters facing that way like that. Then 1 on 3, I think there. You need a couple of blocks like that. Now we need some dust, so we need 1 dust there, 1 dust there, but we also need a dust there. And last but not least, 2 torches. And then we can also add in a lever there. And this is going to be the on-off switch for the pump. So as you can see, it's cycling like that. Now we just need 1 trapdoor to go under there. Here we go, a trapdoor like that. And now you can see it cycles between open and down. And the state of this bottom scaffolding changes, which then changes the distance of all these from the supported block from here to here. So that will trigger an observer up there for the TNT Drooper. It's now time to place the chains, so we need 1 there, 1 there, and then if we move 1 over, finally 1 right there. That's all the chains in. It's now time to add in the bit where we plant the trees, so we can start by adding that there. and then some open fence gates around it, which will stop the water from flooding out. And after placing a couple more fence gates, it's now ready. So this is going to hold in all of the water that we're going to have on top of this. On this block, you would normally place your warped fungus or something like that. But for now, I'm just going to place a dirt block, as I'm not going to be farming nether trees yet. And now I think we need a trapdoor on top of this. And then if we drop down quickly, then we need a dirt block against that trapdoor. We can now waterlog it and place a sign on top there. And finally, let's waterlog this side. Now we need to come off the back here and place an iron bar against it. To finish it off, we just need to add one bit of obsidian right there. It's time to do the duper, so to start with, we need to carefully come to the edge and place an observer there. And that's actually in the wrong position, so this could be a little bit difficult. We need to place it correctly. I think I'm just going to do something like that. There we go. And then we need to make sure it's looking at that scaffolding. There we go. Now we can bridge out. And coat it with some redstone. Now at the end we just need to make a simple TNT duper. So let's do that and place piston there. Now we can get started on that. It should now be done and working, so to start with I'm going to test it by flicking that lever. Hopefully the TNT doesn't blow itself up. So let's watch this and carefully, and it seems it has. So let's see what we did wrong. I seem to have got it working now, and it's all because I didn't flick this lever down. So now is all fully functional, and we can get to using it. But for that we'll need some bone meal. Luckily I've got a load of bone blocks from my bone meal farm. Or not bone meal farm, but skeleton spawner. And now we can simply load them up into this bone meal system. But now we've got this ugly farm here in our world, and in this hardcore world, unlike previous one, I want to decorate all of the farms and stuff, which is why we decorated the creeper farm over here. So let's get started over on this one. Off camera I went mining for quite a while and got a load of andesite which we can use, and also I went and got a load of mossy cobblestone. Also quite a few azalea leaves because I went out searching for some of those trees that naturally generate. So now we've got a load of materials that I can use. I want to use a similar block palette to this house over here. So with the mossy cobblestone, tuff and andesite for the walls, and then some oak for the pillars. And also I think I'm going to do some stripped spruce in between here. So I saw that on some of the builds by other people, and I thought it looked cool. And of course there's alien leaves with trapdoors and deep slate. So let's get to decorating. To start with, I think I'm going to do a wall around here, going all the way up to maybe this place, maybe a bit further as I can extend this terrain. And then going around here, you'll probably bring it out to around here. And there's plenty of space to access the chest. Then of course we'll bring it down along here. I've now built the wall up to a good height, so it's not quite as high as the top blocks. We're going to be putting a roof on, so we don't have to have it that high. But anyway, let's have a quick look at this. It's not the best view with the rain, but I think that looks pretty good. And of course we will detail it, we won't just leave it like that. I've now added in a pillar and I think it looks pretty good, especially with some of this oak mixed in with this spruce. And of course I got it from the tree farm. So let's add in some more of these pillars now. I think I'm going to put pillars in these positions, as it won't work with the same gap in between them, so at the ends I've got to have 4 long and then we can have a 3 gap in between each of the other ones. All of the pillars are now in, so let's take a look. And there we go, looking good. And from another view, this wall's now done, but we've still got 3 more sides to do, so let's get on to these. It seems we also have some visitors, so let's quickly take flint and steel and burn it. And then we shouldn't get the bad omen effect. Here we go, let's add a bit more fire there. Just don't want to burn my house down, as it is made out of quite a bit of wood. Let's just make that sure that none of the leaves or anything burn. And there we go. There's that one gone. Let's see if we can find the rest of them, because usually there are a couple more. I couldn't find them anywhere, so it's back to building. I've now quickly added on a little box here coming off the side. And now I want to add on a few doors here. So you can put one here and one there. And they're facing the wrong way. So let's fix that by placing them like that. No, that's wrong. Maybe like that. Let's try and figure this out. In the end, I've just decided to do some normal doors, as I couldn't seem to get them to open the right way. But now on top of them we can add a couple of trapdoors, and that is the entrance way to this farm. And of course now we need to have a little slab going up, and then we can break in here. And this is where we come in. I think I should have had some andesite stairs put here. By the way, as we head back with these andesite stairs, if this video is a bit delayed, it's because I've had some tests recently, so I've had to study for them, as that comes before Minecraft, unfortunately. But there we go, nice little archway in here, where we can access all the chests. I think I'm going to also put a roof going here, like an arch there. I've now also added this little extension out here, and I will add in all of the roofs of these a bit later. But I just want to do that to break up the shape, as this is just going to be a square essentially if we don't do anything. So I think adding a couple of extensions like this would do it good. Now that I've finished those walls, it's time to add in some roofs. I think I'm going to start with this one here. I've got a bit of deep slate and of course some of this dark oak. And I think I'm going to use this as the main block for these roofs. I will need a bit more granite to add on a corner there. And now we can just make a little roof here. And at the edge, I think I'm just going to use a couple of slabs. That's pretty simple and it looks good. Let's do something like that. And now we can fill this in with some dark oak. And there we go, that's a nice little roof, and it sets the style for the big roof. But before we move on to that, I think I'm going to come around here and add on a roof to this part. And there it is, looking good. And of course we will add windows and stuff and detail it all a bit later. But for now, that's good. It's time to move on to the big roof up there. Let's use some scaffolding to get up. I think to start with, I'm not going to place the stair there. I'm going to go around with a rim around just like this probably, I think. And that looks alright. But it's going to look better as we won't just leave it like this on top of these bits, as I'm going to have strips going up. Anyway, let's quickly go fetch that one that we dropped. In fact, I think I'm going to bring these out by one, just like that. And then these will be support beams. And now let's do that on all of these. There we go. And now I'm going to bring these beams across like this. As you saw from the time lapses, the roof is now completely done, and I went for like a medieval cathedral look with these pillars going up. I'm not sure whether it worked out completely right, but I think it worked. We can come back later maybe. But for now, it's time to move on to the end bit. It's now time to fill in this area up here, as we currently just have a big gap like that over that side. So it's time to fill it in, and I think I'm going to use some oak logs to do this. So let's just start placing these blocks. There we go, all done with that. Let's quickly place that back and have a look. I think it looks alright, but still a bit plain. We'll have to add in some details to it. I think to start with, I'm going to make a sort of window in here, which could look pretty nice, using a similar design to the windows over on that house there. But this one I'm going to use trapdoors for, I think. So let's put on some stairs like that. Now these trapdoors are the wrong way around, but let's put them like this, and then we can have like a square of trapdoors going around these stairs. And there it is, all done. Now let's have a look at it from further away. And there we go, I think that adds a bit more detail to it. If you have any suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll do it next episode. Anyway, let's move on to the other side and do the same thing. And there we go, another window in. The outside of this build is basically finished, other than this completely undetailed wall, and of course the ones on all the other sides. So it's time to go in and add in some details. I think to start with, I'm going to put a couple of support beams going along here, so we can do lantern stuff and other things like that below it. The other side is now done, and next to it I had this pond from earlier when we were doing the water, and I decided to make it actually look like a pond. I think it worked out pretty well. It's not like we're ever going to really come around here, but I think we can leave that like that. And also, of course, add a bit of bone meal all around, so it doesn't look so lonely out here. Anyway, let's go to decorating the interior now. And the first room to do is this one. I don't really need to do much to it, just add a little roof here. And also I think I'm going to replace these with actual glass. This is roughly what I'm going to have for the interior here. So we have this walkway up, of course I need to do the floor. And we have this little room here where we can access the chest, still need to do the floor of course. Then up here, I think I'm going to leave it just like this, as there isn't much I can do, as there's going to be TNT blowing stuff up. So I still need to put some obsidian on these sides to stop it from blowing up the walls. So up here I'm not going to do much decoration. But I think it's time to do the floor in here quickly. I now need to place some obsidian on this wall. So let's try and figure out how we need to place this quickly. So the first block goes there, I think. Then we need to go 1, 2, 3. Then we can go up once. This is in line with that. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then in line of here, I think we go up 5. There we go. Now we just fill in these bits, I think. Here we go. And then fill in this side too. And just the last few blocks here. And I think we've messed something up, as this should have been the exact amount. So let's see what we've done wrong. And it seems I was stupid and forgot the blocks down here. But that should be all done. So now when we turn on the TNT, it shouldn't blow up the wall there. And I've looked in creative and I don't think it can reach the side walls. So let's quickly turn on the TNT. Please don't blow everything up. Come on. There we go. and none of the walls are blowing up, luckily. And let's just turn it off now. So I think the tree farm is all done now. And there. Nothing blew up that time, which is good. And also I've added in the floor here, and also a little bit of decoration with a plant and crafting table. And I think this is a nice cozy little room here that we've got going on. And then of course there's this messy area here, but decorating this would be a bit hard with a TNT blowing up all the time. And I think that is the build done now. To finish it off, I'm just going to add a little pathway coming down here. And I'm not going to use the mud, as this is kind of like a separate way off and just off the main pathway of the village. So we're not going to be using the mud here. Instead, we're just going to be using path blocks and a couple of other blocks. I think I'm just going to use some coarse dirt and maybe a few of these packed mud bricks. But other than that, we're not going to use much of the mud, unlike the other pathways where the main block is the mud. Anyway, here is where it comes up to, and we've got a nice shape to the pathway here, I think. So let's just add a bit of detail to it. So we can start by just placing some of these planks here, and of course extending that down, and then we can also add in some under here, just so that it doesn't look weird. And then let's do it on all of these levels here. And there we go, we've got a nice pathway in here, and I'm just going to finish it off by adding a bit of bone meal around, which will just liven the place up a bit, especially if there are a couple of flowers. And there we go. I think that is the pathway complete. Just going to bone meal that tree in there. And there we've got a nice pathway with a nice transition from the normal pathway, with slowly going away from this mud bricks into this more pattern of a bit of mud still, but then also coarse dirt and path mainly. I think it works quite nicely for this. You need one more slab there though. And there we go. To finish off this episode, I just want to run the tree farm for a bit to get a bit of wood. So let's turn that on there, and then come up and start using the farm. And we will need to turn on our fast clicker. Let me just find out how to turn that on quickly. Here we go, it's now doing it all for us. But of course I forgot to turn on the thing that dispenses us the bone meal. That is now on, so it'll resupply us with bone meal. And meanwhile we can watch it in action. So as you can see, it's mining all the trees up for us, so we can get plenty of wood very easily. And none of the walls are blowing up. Not that it would really matter, as this is just a hollow space, but none of them are really blowing up, which is always good. So now we have this really nice tree farming shack in our world, and it's actually the largest build that we have so far. This took a lot of time to make, so if you enjoyed today's episode, then feel free to subscribe. Welcome back everybody to the Hardcore series, and make sure you've turned that subscribe button grey before we start. Otherwise, what we're doing in today's episode it just won't work. But anyway, so between episodes I AFK'd at this tree farm for a bit, which still doesn't have a decorated interior, but I used it until all the bone meal is gone, so we've got a reasonable supply of logs now. But the bone meal is gone, and I don't really want to have to use the skeleton spawner which is down there, as that is just way too slow and manual. So today we're going to be making a moss farm. Let's get right into it. Also, by the way, I've decided to use Whip's texture pack for these new textures, as they're very subtle, but they do look quite nice. They're slightly bushy leaves, and very nice wheat. Just makes field look a lot nicer. But then it doesn't really change much else. So I think I'm going to stick with this unless anyone has any complaints. We now have a load of materials to gather. Start with quite a few blocks. Let's find a good material to use. For the blocks, I'm thinking that we can use some tubs. Let's put all of the materials in this chest for now. The glass is easy enough to get from this villager here, so I've now got more than enough. We now need a couple of walls, and I'm just going to use some mossy cobblestone for this, and then also some stairs, which I just use andesite for. Now we need a couple of pistons. I need a tiny bit of ice now, so let's just come over near spawn and gather a bit from this frozen lake. And I've returned with 22 packed ice. We also need a couple of hoppers, and also a load of observers. We also need 10 droppers. We also need 6 comparators and 8 repeaters. As one of the final few materials, we need to craft a load of dispensers, which will involve a lot of doing this quite often. So I'll be back when I've completed all of these blows. And there we go, 5 dispensers. I've now picked out a spot and I decided to make a whole new building for it, just because I wasn't exactly sure how I'd fit it in there. And also, I kind of want to fill this area out a bit more. So let's get started building this. The build is now done, and to complete it we need this armor stand, and we just need to place it over here. Now I already prepared some Frostwalker 2 boots using the villagers, so now the farm should be done. And to test the redstone at least, we can just flick that lever and it should now all be working. And it's going to be very loud, so hopefully it's not too loud for you. But I think it's working. As you can see, all water drains and it's redispensed. And this is just an unload detector, which shuts off the farm if it's unloaded. To start it off, I think we need to quickly put a little bit of bone meal in that dispenser there. And then quickly come up here and flick this lever. And hopefully the farm works now. Now that should be bone mealing it. Maybe I put in the wrong dispenser, let's quickly have a look. And it is now working, we're getting moss through and we're also getting moss down here, as you can see. And the reason why it wasn't working before is because I forgot this bit over here. But now that it works, it's working pretty well. Now you can see we're already getting stuff out of output. But I haven't linked any storage up yet, so that's what we've got to do next. I now want to add in the chest system, so I think I'm going to go up maybe 3 rows of chests, maybe 4. Let's have a look at 4 actually. Yeah, I think 4 rows of chests is good. So we need 1 for the bone meal, and then we can use the rest of this stack of chests I made for the other items. I think this is a decent sized storage. We've got plenty of space. In this first row, I'm going to put an item filter so only bone meal can go in. We of course also need a couple of hoppers for this. And we can now start just placing these all along the back of these chests. I've now added a little water stream going around here, so it starts here, then I've got a trapdoor to stack the items more. And then we've got first this filter here. I do still need to add the filter on for the bone meal, and it drops down for all the rest. These won't have filters, they'll just be random items. Then at the end we can just have a little fire for all the items go into and get burnt so there's no extra light. And of course we also need to cover up this bubble column so items don't shoot out the top. We can now test if this sorting system works, so let's turn it on quickly there. And now we should see items coming out pretty soon. As soon as those hoppers get filled, or when there's large enough batches. And first we'll get some bone meal. And I did forget to set the filter, so I'll go into the wrong one. Let's quickly set the filter here. There we go. So that filter is now set, so any bone meal that comes through will get picked up on that one. Then any moss or moss items should go through and go into the unsorted. So let's watch to see if this works. Here comes some seeds, and the seeds should go into a different chest. Hopefully this one. There we go. Only bone meal and random junk in here. After only running it for a couple of seconds, like just a minute or so, we've already got quite a bit of bone meal and also a load of moss blocks. For the deco of this farm, I think I'm going to start by pushing this bit back a bit. So let's go get our shovel. And here we go, now we can remove a bit of this terrain. And that's all really that I need to remove. Now it's time to put out the shape. So this is the edge here. So I want to do a little corner here, I think. And then we can bring it out maybe along a diagonal here, like this maybe. And then continue bringing it out to roughly here. And then we can bring it in again. I've now got a general shape in, and this is where the door's going to go. Now we need to start building this up, so I think I'm going to just go up a couple of blocks of moss every now and again. And not all the blocks will be going up. And I have just removed this tree, so we have to wait for the leaves to despawn. I'm just going to bring the moss up slightly, as you want it to slowly change from moss to mossy cobblestone to tough. But then we also want to add some depth. I've now brought up all of the sides, and now we just need to come in with some mossy cobblestone, kind of like this, to add a bit of depth to it. And now that that's done, we can finally come in with a final layer of tuff. However, this will only go up to this level, as then I want to bring in the walls. To start off on the walls, I'm going to have 2 layers. I'm going to have this higher layer, where the ground kind of steps up a bit and where the moss farm is. And I'm going to have this lower layer, where the storage is. And the lower layer is going to have walls similar to the creep farm over there, using dripstone bow to separate it from this base of stone. So let's go around tracing the shape. And there we go, I've now got the general shape of this second layer, and I've also fallen down. However, for this second section up here, I have a slightly different block palette I'd like to try and use. So let's quickly throw that back in there, then we can go and get the blocks for the next block palette. But for some of these blocks in our palette, we need to get a bit of sand, as I'm going to be using concrete powder. So let's gather a little bit of it here. That should be enough sand gathered. We can now mix this with some gravel I gathered earlier to make a load of white concrete powder. And the final block in this block palette is just some diorite, which we can get from this big clump in the cave. We now have all of the resources for the second part of the build, so we can now start with this. And here are all the materials laid out here quickly for you. So we're going to use some unstripped birch logs actually, some white concrete powder, polished diorite and normal diorite. And hopefully this looks good, and I think it will look pretty nice. This is what we have so far, and I think it's looking pretty good. I'm liking this block palette, and I think it's going to look even better when we have this other side on too. This is what I've got so far, so let's quickly drop down. And yeah, so that's what we've got so far. And I've also started on this side too, and I think it's looking pretty good at the moment. All the walls are now in and all nice and textured, and I think it's looking very nice. So we've now got that in, we've still got this big section down here to do, so let's start on this bit. I do need some more mud though for this farm, so let's take our donkey and get out of here quickly. And let's go travelling, as with the donkey we can have all these extra spaces. And also, while we're going, if you want to, go down to the comments and give me a name for this donkey. I'll take the best one when we make the next episode. I'm now back home with my donkey, so let's just jump over here. And we've got plenty of mud, so let's go and drop this off at our house. I've started by adding a couple of these sort of supports and borders around here. Now we can come in and add in a bit of this mud, and also I decided to use some andesite too. I think that could look pretty nice. Let's start filling in all of the gaps. And now in the corners I want to add in a little tower, except we won't be using normal oak. We'll be using the stripped version instead. And there we go. It's now finished, and at the moment it is of course very plain. But we will be fixing that a bit later on when we come to detailing the whole thing. So for now that is good enough. Let's quickly put our totem in the offhand again too. But there we go, we've got a nice tall tower, a shorter building and a taller building. So now we need to go in and detail all this. Starting with this building here, I want to add in some windows. For the windows, I think I'm just going to go for something like this. I think that looks pretty good. With a campfire on top, then some fence gates, and then some scaffolding in there. And then we can also do some other ones around here as well. Let's just go around now, adding in all of these little windows here. All of the windows for this part of the castle are now in, and I think they look pretty nice with this scaffolding. I don't normally use it that much, so it's nice to use it for a change rather than glass paint. For these windows on this part of the build, I think I'm going to use some fence gates, but I'm also going to put some glass behind them, just so that it's not fully unprotected. There we go, some glass behind. Finally, to finish it off, I'm going to come in every now and again and add in a little bush under the windows. Just add a bit of greenery to it. And there we go. I've added quite a few windows, even some on this tower, which isn't quite finished yet. And of course, I've added a load of really nice looking windows around here. So I'll give you a quick look at all of them. And they're all pretty nice. I try and make them slightly unique. This is probably my favourite one out of all of them. I just like how detailed it is and how it fits in space. Got some small ones around here, and then I had to do a weird corner one right there. Then around here we're going back to some more normal ones, and these are all pretty similar, except for this one. Don't know why I decided to add that fence there. I think I'm just going to add a trapdoor there quickly. And there we go, that's basically all the windows now in. But we now need to think about the roof. I now need some deep slate for the roof, so I'm off to the caves with my TNT. I'll show you why a little bit later. And while we're heading down, make sure you've clicked the subscribe button and turned it grey like all this stone. Otherwise the build won't work and the farm will break. Yeah, that's definitely what's going to happen if you don't subscribe. The main reason why I got this TNT is so that I can just mine down 2, I think it was. Place that down there, and if we use a flint and steel, it should clean out a nice hole. Let's have a look if this works. There we go. We get plenty of TNT for this. Or not TNT, we get plenty of deep slate. So I'm going to use this for a little while to see how much we can get. And now I've got this little roof trim with the deep slate, so I want to bring in the moss. I'm just going to add it in around it, going up every 2 blocks. So do something like that to start with, and then we can just slowly bring it upwards. I've now filled it all in with moss, and I want to sprinkle in a tiny bit of mossy cobblestone in here. So every now and again I'm just going to put a little bit in here, and then I think they'll add a little bit of detail to the roof. With 1 day left to day 400 on this hardcore world, which is actually quite good to reach that. And we are now finished with outside, and I've gone around adding a load of leaves. And I think it looks really nice. This is probably my favourite build in the world now. And definitely the best looking, I'd say. But anyway, let's quickly head in, and I've added this little door, and this is what we're greeted with. But this isn't the nicest sight to look at. So we have 1 Minecraft day to completely transform that. So let's do this thing with a quick 12. And there we go. We have a nice interior. Not my favourite interior, but I think it works. And we're not quite at day 400 yet, so let's see if we can sleep. No, so it's almost day 400. And there. It's now day 400 in our hardcore world, which means that it took us 50 days to complete this, which is actually quite a lot for such a small build. But I'm quite impressed with it. We're getting plenty of bone meal and loads of moss, more than we'll ever need. This bone meal we can all use to go into our farm here, our tree farm. And that's the main reason why we built that bone meal farm in the first place. To complete this build, we need to just add in a little pathway going along. So let's just make a simple one going to the main pathway of our village. And there, still day 400, and we've got a nice path, so we've not finished quite yet. There we go, just going to replace that block. There we go, we have a nice path connecting all the way up into the main path of this village. And let's quickly go down it and have a look at this build, but let's do it with a shaded walkthrough. Right after I sleep, of course, though. Last episode we built this nice castle for our moss farm, and we've got plenty of bone meal and moss from this. But now I want to go and build another pointless building. Well, this one will actually have a bit of a purpose, as unlike all of the other buildings in this city which were built, I want this one to have an interior. And as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be making an inn. And I think I want to make it around here. But over here is a really nice space for an entrance to the city. So later on, which is probably going to be in the next episode, I'm going to make a gatehouse or entrance. As that means that to stay inside the city, I want to use this space here. And to do that, we'll need to fill it in. So let's get our dirt out and start placing. And there we go. We now have a nice big area to build on. And I think I'm going to use the area around here, maybe clear out a bit of this land. Just a tiny bit. Let's go get some block to mark out the size of this build. So I think to start with, we could have like a corner bit in here where the entranceway is. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we want the corner here. So let's do something like that. And then we will of course have our corner pillar around there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that is pretty good. Let's do a shape kind of like that maybe. So let's move it a bit back as we're now intersecting with this building. And I will have to remove a bit of this terrain, though it could be nice having it step up slightly. So I don't want to remove too much, as I want the village to step up slightly from now on. Here is where I'm going to leave it, so let's quickly do a corner here. Now we can move some more up to this point. And there we go, we can now get a sense of scale, and this is actually a pretty big build. And that's because I'm going to use it to store all my villagers. As for now, we just have a little hole in the ground for our villagers, which isn't really the best place to store them. So I want to improve it by building them an inn to stay in. I've now got a load of blocks, so the block palette is going to be oak logs, as I don't have many spruce logs, andesite, stone, gravel, stone bricks, and cobblestone. And I think this will make quite a nice block palette. And this is only going to be for the bottom layer though, so we'll have a different block palette for the top. And I think we can start by putting in the corners. I think I'm just going to raise up by 4. With this last pillar, we can now go on to connecting these with a little row of logs. And there we go, we've now got some wall patterns in all of these little hollows. But this is looking quite square and undetailed, so I want to add in some spruce stairs in these bits. Just like this. And that just adds a tiny bit of detail to it. I may even come in with trapdoors if I have enough spruce for that end. With those then, to finish it off, I'm just going to add in some oak trapdoors on the connections here to add a tiny bit more detail. I'm also leaving this spot for a chimney, so for now we won't build that. We will do that later. I'm now going to come on the inside and start to mark out the buildings that we can put in, as I'm not going to have it as one big roof, so I want to split it up into different parts of the roof, and I think doing this would be a good way. So let's do a similar pattern to the other walls, but this time on the inside. We won't be filling it in for now. For the second layer, I'm going to start with this sort of square here. Now to do that, I'm going to bring this up something like maybe 6 blocks. Let's try that. Yeah, I think 6 blocks is a good amount. We now have this nice shape here, and to do the walls I want to use some dark oak wood, some mangrove logs and some more dark oak, except of course we're going to strip all of these. And then this will make a really nice combination. There we go. The wall's now in, and it makes this nice kind of Tudor style build. And now we need to move on to the other side, where it's currently empty of walls. And for this one I want to use a different block palette, and that's going to be a similar block palette to our moss farm over here, as I really like the palette here and I think it works very well. So I want to use it again. And it's definitely not because I made too much concrete. So let's get started here. And for the concrete, if there's something like this, then I'm just going to use a bit of a temporary block. Of the patterns are now in, so let's just add in our signature stairs, and I might also add in some like this for these ones, just to make it slightly different from the rest of the build. There we go, that's looking pretty good I think. I now want to try and get the chimney in, so let's start at the bottom and start building our way up to the top. At the top here, I'm just going to add a little chimney and then the wall on top to finish it. There we go. Now let's quickly remove all these temporary blocks. And there we go. Nice chimney in there. So let's get on to the roof. And to start with, I'm going to do this tiny building here. And for this, I'm just going to use a sloping slab roof, I think. And now let's just fill it with some cold deep slate. That roof is now in, and now I want to move on to this roof. And for this I'm just going to do a simple roof using some of this dark oak wood. And there we go, we have a nice simple roof in here. Not the best looking, but I think once it goes in with the rest of the build, it'll look alright. That's a bit of nice shape variation in here. It's now time to do this roof, so I think we just do something very simple. And I've liked doing something like this where we just strip the logs and then go up in a one high pattern like this, almost done, and there we go, something like that. And then we can also add in a window right in the center there. And now we can start adding our first proper roof on here. And there we go, the roof is now on, and I think it should look okay. And yeah, I think it looks okay. But I do want to put a trapdoor on that lock there quickly. I've made a little sample of this roof. Well, not that little, the roof is actually pretty large. But I made a tiny sample there, and it's tiny because, well, we've still got this entire side to do. So let's go on to that. But before we do, I'd like to remind you to subscribe, as by the end of the month I'm going to try and reach 100 subscribers, so if you could help out That'd be really nice. Anyway, let's get back into the video. But before we do that, I want to make a really quick little wagon here. Just add a tiny bit of life to this world. And there we go, we've got a nice little cart now. And you'll see I've put some fence gates here, and that's because I want to put my donkey on the front of it. So let's just bring our donkey over here. Then we can quickly dismount and put it on one of these. There we go. Let's also name the donkey, and we're going to call it Shrek. That was the best comment from last episode. So it's now called Shrek the Donkey, and he's pulling this cart for us down the road. And I did also add a few stones as just some details behind it. And I think it turned out pretty well. I'm going to do quite a few more of these probably in the next episode though, as the next episode is probably going to be improving this village with things like that. So let's get back to the inn though. And there we go, the roof is now completely in, and it is a bit of a weird one with this double roof line, but I think it kind of works out. And now it's time to add in some windows, so I've got a load of blocks here that we could use. So let's just start adding them in every now and again. I think I want one here. We now have a nice little window in there, and next I think I'm going to do a small one down here. And there we go, nice little small window in there. The next one, and probably the final one on this side, is going to be one up there. I think right in here would be a good place to do it. And after adding an azalea, it's all done. So let's have a look at this one. I think that should look pretty nice. And yeah. There we go. And I have got something planned here, but we'll do that a bit later. Here's the next side done, and I added a couple of windows, but also a few bushes, which I want to start mixing in around here. In this little corner I have some more plants here, as I want to have a tiny little garden and some little growing beds for vegetables and stuff. So we'll get onto that a bit later. That's all I'm going to do for this side, as it's already pretty busy. So I might put a tiny window down here. There we go, I decided not to do a window as it's too close to the wall here, so instead I just put a few bushes around there. This side I'm just going to have a cute little single one there on its own. I think it looks pretty nice. But I am going to put a little window up there, I think. There we go. Up here I'm just going to quickly remove that. I did actually want to leave that lock in, so let's put that back. And now we can just do a bit of bridging out. Let's quickly go to the side here, then go up slightly. I'm going to do this with a mangrove log, as it's got a nice brown texture. So let's just bridge out a couple of blocks to around here. And then I'm going to put a button on the end. Soon. Actually, we can do it now, so let's just make a quick button. There we go. We can put this right on the end. Also remove that block there. Let's just put this on the end, and then we can come down with some of these little bits of, I think, fences. So if we bring them down a bit, then we can have a hanging sign for this build. And down at the bottom here we can put a grindstone, and this attaches down to the bottom. So then we can just come like this with some more of our mangrove logs, then also some dark oak logs on the side. I've slightly changed the design of the sign, so now it uses some stone and also a banner which I quickly made with balloon. I think it looks pretty nice here. But now to finish this build off, I'm going to just add in some custom trees, which will make it look a bit nicer. Let's just go up, and I'm going to do some ones using andesite and oak leaves. These are also going to be pretty tall ones too, as you can see. There we go, we've got a nice custom tree here, and it's not the best, but then again, I've never made a tree in this style before, so I think it turned out relatively well. I think I'm going to build maybe 2 more of these. I think I'll have one over here probably, and then one over there. That should be good. And on how to build them, you basically just pillar up a load of blocks. And these ones, they're meant to be pretty tall, so they don't work as well when they're short. I think that's a good height. And then you come up a couple of blocks onto the trunk, and then you start adding leaves. This can be like 3, 2 or 4, I do. No more than that. And then you just start bundling the leaves on like this. And you want quite a wide base, as then it'll go narrower near the top. And there we go, we have some nice custom trees out the back here, which will start it to transition into fields, which is what I want to have out here. So you have a load of flat space. But with that, the outside is basically finished, and I'll leave the terrain decoration for a bit later. But we've still got an entire interior to do. So let's start decorating here. To start with, on the interior here, let's go up with some strips of dark oak wood, of course all stripped, as this will fill in the gaps between the stone at the bottom, and it's also the same as the ones on the top. So make nice kind of wallpaper for the top level, and then it also finishes the gaps in here on the bottom level. And there we go. Now got these little pillars in, it's time to add in the roof, as at the moment it's just one big room, which just won't do. And for this we can start by quickly coming over to our moss farm after we clear our inventory. My inventory is now emptied, so we can take a load of bone meal, and we've got plenty stocked up in these chests, which is really nice to see. Let's gather a load of it, and then we can go over to our tree farm. This is the last batch of bone meal, so now we can start using the farm. I've now used the tree farm for a little bit, so we have a load of logs, and I'm going to start by putting a row of logs, and then we can have a row of these slabs. Let's quickly fill that in, just like this, to make a nice roof pattern. It's now time to do the interior, so to start with I've added a few walls in here just to split the rooms up very slightly. So this room's going to be the main room with all the tables. We're going to have a private dining area. Still need to do a bit of wall here I think, and then finish the wall there. And then in here will be an entranceway, maybe storage for coats and stuff. Might make some I don't know, loading room or something. I'm not quite sure. And then upstairs we still have a whole room which I'm going to use for bedrooms. To start with, I want to add in some tables. So let's do a quick twirl and then we can have a few. So let's do this. And there we go. We have a nice load of tables in here, and all of them are slightly different. And I think it looks pretty nice. So now it's still, of course, very early on. And I think this one I'm going to have a bar area where bartenders go. Then of course all the tables. And now we really need a floor. So let's see if we can get a simple one in. And for that, let's do a simple zoom in at the floor. And there we go. We now have a completely new floor in here. Except for this room, which I apparently missed out. I think the design is now finished after I spent about 3 or 4 in Minecraft days building the top, which we'll explore last. But to start with, let's go look at the exterior. So for this I went for a relatively big build actually, as it's probably one of my bigger builds in this world, certainly in this village. And as you can see, the interior is actually pretty detailed, and of course I mean the exterior. And it's probably my more detailed build in the world, especially all of the detailing on the supports. And this banner, I think, is really nice. I'm definitely going to do something like that again. But anyway, let's head inside. So here's the starting bit. We have a little bit of a divider here. And then we have like the upstairs bit, which will go up later. We have this bit, which is like kind of like closed off, a bit more private. Then we have big table for some more people, little one. Here's where all the bartenders go, where you can get different drinks out of them. Little chest for just storage. Then we have a tiny fireplace here, not really meant for use. Then we have this here, and I couldn't figure out what to put in this room, so if you have any suggestions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. And then I'll make the best one in the next episode. And then, of course, here we have like this more like premium section, where it's closed off a bit and it's in its own separate room, kind of. Which is obviously why they're eating golden carrots here. Anyway, also I did decide to put my enchanted golden apple in there, which is quite cool. So we've no longer got an enchanted golden apple, but it's nice as a decoration, certainly a flex. But anyway, let's head upstairs, and here I've got a little staircase with some bookshelves underneath, which I think is quite nice. So up here we have a little landing, and we have a few bushes, stuff like that, open door, as I just adds a bit more life to the place. Then in here, little carpet, bed, pot. In this one, similar thing. Like, these are all pretty similar, just because, well, then they wouldn't be too different, really. So, here we have another room. This one has, like, a little desk or something. Not sure what that is. Let's see if that one opens. Then here's, like, a bigger room. It even has a window. And it has, like, this desk thing here. It has a barrel. This is, like, one of the more premium rooms. Like, this is where one of really high-paying customers would go. So that is the upstairs room, and that is it finished. So let me know what I should do with this, as it is quite a nice interior, and I'm not the best at interiors, but would you like me to add a function to it? Put that in the comments as well. But anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Also remember to subscribe, that is extremely important. To start this episode off, I've got some sad news. I've kind of lost motivation in this area of my hardcore world. As well, one of the episodes I did was I built this entire village thing here, with all little houses. However, they're all pretty meaningless, with no interiors and nothing like that. There wasn't really any major layout and no purpose then, which kind of makes the world feel a bit empty. This is a project that I was working on, a gatehouse, but then again it feels just wrong and out of place in a village like this, but there is no real purpose to the buildings. So what I think I'm going to do is, instead of starting a new hardcore world and going completely from scratch, I think I'm just going to start a new area, as this still looks good I think. Just, I don't think it's the kind of world I'd want to live in, per se. As I only started building builds I liked and had a purpose in this kind of area, which I do actually like. This is one of my favourite builds in the world. And it's a moss farm, as you can see, producing bone meal and plenty of moss. So this is probably one of the only builds I like, along with a tree farm right next to it. So to move area though, we'll need an elytra I think, and also a few shulk boxes to move all our stuff. So let's go to Nether, get some blaze rods, and let's go defeat a dragon. Oh, I forgot that this was Nether spawn. Dangerous road across the lava. Hopefully that gas doesn't shoot us. Let's just go anyway. And hopefully it doesn't shoot. Come on, son, run. And didn't shoot, good. And here's the fortress. Luckily it's pretty near. Hopefully we don't die. I've got a couple of totems here. Oh, wow, murder. I think that's murder right there. So let's see if we can find a couple of blaze rods and hopefully don't die to these wither skeletons, which is probably the way we will go if we do die this episode. A load of wither skeletons over here too. No blazes unfortunately yet, which is weird that none of them have spawned. At least we can get a bit of coal, which is always useful for torches and stuff. Just some more wither skeletons. One of the blazes don't come in. And yeah, there is a blaze spawner, but I don't fancy going over that. Is that a skull? No, it's not. It's just some more coal. Well, with all these wither skeletons spawning, we might get a skull at least. Oh, blaze. Hopefully we can get blaze rod. Nope, no blaze rod. Well, I guess we have to use the blaze spawner then. I was hoping for an enclosed one, but oh, no, blaze. Okay. Let's go to fire, so let's get out of the way. Now we can just come in with a sword. Did that really just fall offside? Okay. Well, let's go here then. At least we can get a couple. That is a lot of wither skeletons. At least we won't die, hopefully. There we go. And there. All of those gone. Let's get rid of this blaze then. Oh, 2 blaze rods. "27 blaze rod is more than enough, but I wanted to get a few for later brewing and stuff. So that's always nice to have. Then we don't have to come back to this dangerous fortress again. And maybe we can go with skeleton skull on the way out, hopefully. No skull. Well, there's always another time that we can come back. Maybe we can find some ender pearls to complete the eyes of ender down in this cave. Which is possible. Does that skeleton have a flame bow? Oh, that's pretty rare, I think. Anyway, let's see if we can find a few endermen. Then we can steal their eyes. Yeah, that sounded mean. But anyway, let's just get on with it. Oh, enderman, where are you? Well, there's a creeper. That's not what we want. Get out of here. No enderman yet, but there are some diamonds there, so let's go and get those. There we go, some nice diamonds. I've just realised that probably the best way to get enderman is just to wait for night, as I'm not having any luck in this cave. I have no idea where I came into this cave, so let's just mine to the surface. There we go, back up on the surface, and it's already night, so let's see if we can find a few endermen. This is probably going to take way too long and the night's almost over, so let's just trade with this cleric villager until it sells us some ender pearls. There we go, ender pearls. So we need at least 12, but let's get a couple more. So we'll have to wait for the next cycle to get some more. There we go, now we can buy a couple more. I think I want to buy at least 60. And now we can craft some eyes of ender, so we need blaze powder and eyes of ender. Now let's quickly go and prepare ourselves before we go and try and defeat the dragon. To start with, I want to bring 3 stacks of gunpowder, 3 stacks of paper, and finally a couple of stacks of wood, which will be useful for bridging, crafting tables, making new tools, and all sorts like that. I think we're finally ready, so let's come and let's shoot it out. And it went that direction, so let's get travelling then. Almost forgot my bed, that would have been a bad idea. Let's also bring our crafting table. And now let's get travelling. By the way, if you're not already yet subscribed, then you might as well go and make that subscribe button grey. There we go, we've found the thing. What's this called? A stronghold, I think. Let's see if we can find the portal room. It's going to be somewhere around here. And while we're here, we might as well loot this. There can be some very nice books in here. Let's see what we can find. Impaling 4. Not too much else in there. Let's see. Oh, we've found it. Here it is, and I don't have a way to light this up. I should really get some torches. Well, I guess it's alright for now. Let's just light this portal, just like that, and there. It's done. The portal is open. Let's quickly make some of these planks. There we go. Now we're ready. Let's go in then. Ooh. Hopefully it's a good spawn. Oh, that was a frightening screen to see there. Let's bridge straight to the island. Then, as you've all seen the dragon fight before, let's just do a little montage instead. There we go, we've beaten the dragon. Now let's collect all of this lovely XP and repair some of our tools, which is very useful. And now it's time to go through the end gateway they opened. Let's just use a trapdoor, and there we go. We're out in the outer islands, and seems we spawned quite far out actually. So let's try and bridge to, I think that island there maybe. Or this one's closer. So let's do a bit of bridging. We're almost there, we just need to bridge in this direction a bit, and then we are there. Just 1, 2, 3, and we're at the main island. That is quite a long bridge up, but this might be nice for a void trader eventually. But now it's on to searching for an elytra, as then it'll allow us to move around much easier. And also we'll be able to get shulkers too, which will be nice for transporting items. And there is an end ship, so let's bridge across and hopefully we can loot the elytra. There we go, the bridge is complete, well almost, still got this little gap to go across. There, it's now complete. And now we can try and go and loot this thing. Hopefully we get a load of shulker shells. Let's just eat some of that and try and get in here before they hit us out and levitate us. There we go. And our first shulker shell. Oh, hopefully we don't get hit out anymore. Let's wait until it goes. Then we can go and fetch this shell. And now let's get rid of this one. He's teleported again. This guy really knows how to do a disappearing act. Let's just leave him behind for now and instead go and loot the rest of the city, as there's a lot more to explore up here. The main tower is over this way, so let's go and loot this thing. We want to get in here before it shoots us out. And there we go. Let's see if we can get a couple of shulker shells from the main room. Just up here. Here's the big room. Got to be careful in here and try and get rid of as many as we can as quickly as possible so that they can't hit us, as that would be very bad. Let's hope we don't die to all of them. Oh, we're going out. Well, let's try and get back in. I think all the shulkers gone, or at least I've teleported on the outside. Let's see what loot there is. Don't need that. Oh, I accidentally put my paper in there. Diamonds. Might as well take them. No real use for them, but might as well have them. Now, where is the end ship? I wonder if we can float our way across there. It's not void down below, which is nice. Let's try and float. Come on. Get to us. No, we're not going to make it, are we? Come on. Yes, we made it. We made it. Okay. Now I've just got to try not to get hit again so we can get down there. Oh no. We are going to get hit again, aren't we? Let's just try and not get hit too much. Here we go. Dropping down. And now that we're in this room, it's a one-on-one battle. This shulker and me. And there we go. The elytra. Let's quick throw that out. Oh, that's nice. Let's put it on straight away. And then we can jump and fly and stuff. What's in here? No, don't need that sword. Might as well take the gold though. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave some of this wood behind. We don't really need it. And then what we can do is we can craft a couple of rockets and let's go flying, I think. Right after we take the diamonds, of course. I think that's the entire end city raided, so let's see if we can go find another one. Oh, just angered an enderman. So better be out of here. There's another one, so I'm just here for the elytra mainly. Also, if we can get an ender chest, that would be very nice. But I don't think I have my silk touch pickaxe on me. No, I don't. So let's just try and get the elytra, as the second one is always nice to have. With 2, I think it's time to head home, so I don't think I'll ever really need more than that in this single player world. There's an exit portal, so let's see if we can land in it with our elytra. And here we go. Let's go back home. Now we can fly into the portal with our new elytra. Oh, don't forget the dragon egg though. That's very important. Let's just throw this on the ground quickly. We can get a torch. Get a torch. Well, guess we're not getting a torch today. Well, I had to put a block there, but let's now break it. So it's gone somewhere over here, I think. Let's see. Oh, over there. Now let's just mine under it, place the torch, and then break it like that. And there we go, we've got the egg. I think that's all we need from the end for now, so let's go back home. Finally, I want to come here and add in some mending and not another mending and unbreaking to the Elytra. Then also the one that I'm wearing, so the durability doesn't go down as quickly. And finally, I want to make a couple of shulker boxes, which you can use to store all our stuff, like our many totems. After doing a bit of exploring, I found a nice place to settle down. Also, I used the shulker boxes, so I've only got 5 unfortunately, but we can go back for more, to transport all of the stuff I want to keep. This is going to be my details box too. And then I've got a few other things like all the mud and then other things like that. And a load of rockets, gunpowder, all the good things. But I do still need to go back to my base to have trade with villagers, to use a tree farm. So I need to link a portal. Luckily, there's a ruined portal down here, so hopefully we can get enough obsidian from this to build a full portal. Let's start mining. I could only get 8 from here, so oh no, there's no obsidian in there. Guess we have to try and find another ruined portal, or at least a lava lake. Well, there is this like ground outpost thing, so maybe we could find 2 of these. One here, so that's 9. Hopefully we can find another one. That looks like another one, so let's hope there's some obsidian in here. And this is right next to my base too, which is pretty cool. Let's see, is there any obsidian around here? It doesn't look like there's any obsidian here, so let's go back to our house and sleep quickly. Then we can go looking, as I think there's another drowned outpost somewhere around here. It looks like there is one down here, but it is right next to an ocean monument, which I do eventually want to turn into an XP farm for us. But hopefully we can get a piece of obsidian without getting mining fatigue from the monument. I think there should be some obsidian around here. Here is some, so let's quickly mine it before we get mining fatigue. There we go. And now let's get out of here. Just don't need anything else from here, unless there's a trident round, which I don't think there is, so let's get out of here. As I don't want zombie pigmen coming into my base, I think I'm going to build a portal on this little outer island, which isn't connected to the land, but it's easily accessible. So let's build a quick portal up, and then we can go through. Here's the flint and steel, and there we go. And let's hope it doesn't spawn us in a bad situation. Not too bad actually. It's a relatively good spawn. I think I'm just going to mark the coordinates of this, and then we can go and find over portal. I think that might be the fortress that we were at earlier on this episode. Yes, it is. And here is our base portal. And of course the good old nether sheep. And the nether chicken down there. It seems we already have a visitor to our new base, so let's quickly get rid of him, which shouldn't be too hard. There we go. And now let's also surround our portal a bit, so it's slightly safer. I need to get a bit more netherrack, so we can fully surround it. With some moss carpets on top, I think that'll work pretty well. And you can also use some of the glass I got from villagers while trading for some other stuff just then to cover up the back. Now we've got a nice protected portal. However, at the moment we still don't have a base, we're just living out of a shulker monster on the floor. So before that gets out of hand and we start adding chests to the storage monster, let's build a house right behind me. Let's kick off in good old-fashioned super fast build mode. The build is now done, so let's go to our new bedroom, have a sleep, and then we'll be on day 500 of a hardcore world. So now we press F3, then you can see that the day count is now 500, which is actually quite an accomplishment, and I'm probably going to be releasing a 500 days video on the channel, so if you want to see that, go check out if it releases soon, which you probably will do. But anyway, let's have a quick tour of this build. So to start with, here's the front of it. Quite detailed. I tried to go for a slightly different style to the rest of the world. I think it worked out pretty well. And it's definitely one of my favourite builds in this world. Moss Farm might be slightly higher in that list, but this is definitely my second favourite, if that. So then we've got this side, we've got little stables. I'm going to get a horse eventually, which I can put in there. Then we've got a storage for our wood, because, well, in the house you'll see there's not too much storage. Like, nice to have an extra bit of storage for the wood. Then the back, there's not as much on the back. Then I've got a little balcony here, we can go up to that when we go on the inside. I think that's all you need to see from the outside, other than the roof, which is just a warped wood roof with some warped logs, some stripped warped logs, then also a few warped planks. Then there's also a tower roof for the tower. So, heading inside, this is what we agreed to start with. Small corridor, little chest door stuff. Then when you go in here, a little bit of a cramped space. There's a window under the stairs, stuff like that. But I think it works pretty nicely to get a lot of storage in. And you'll see that the floors are also barrels, giving us even more storage. If we head upstairs, we've got this like landing, where there's like a couple of desks, lanterns, and there's this little divider wall. We have a bush, and this leads into the tower. Let's go up. Here's a balcony I was telling you about before, just a small one, so we can look out across the world, across the oceans, which will eventually take over. Then, let's head up here. You'll see I've put like a little warp thing here on all the windows, so we can look out nicely. And there's ones going in two directions. Then finally, up at the top, we've got the tower. But I'm thinking of putting a book and doing the comment of the day here. So if you have any good comments, feel free to put them down below, so we can do the first one next episode. Then we've got some fences here, tacked as little windows, so we can look out to the mountain behind there. Well, kind of. But back down here, let's head through here, and over to here. So this is going to be like, this is kind of like a storage room, like it's not meant to be seen, it's just kept out of the way there. But it does give us quite a bit more storage. Between these barrels, there's more, a couple of chests, and other stuff like that. So that's a nice little room there. And then here is my bedroom. I really should add another barrel to it, or something like a chest here. But I haven't got around to that yet. But I think it's pretty nice. We've got a valuables barrel there at least. This is my bedroom while asleep for the night. After walking around a bit, I realised I actually forgot some slabs there. Well, they're in now. But what is not in is all of these shulkers. So I guess let's just take them off the floor. We don't have any space, so let's first make space, I guess. Let's take them all off the floor and let's move them inside and start sorting. I think I've now organised everything neatly away, and it's not labelled. I think that's fine. So in here we have all the stone, then we have some deep slate. Don't have much deep slate yet, but normally all the variants will be here. And in here I'd have like walls and stuff for these. And I don't have any cobblestone yet, but I'll have some cobblestone here. Then here's all my falling blocks. Here is just miscellaneous stone, like dripstone of course. Then in here I haven't put anything there yet. And all my valuables, they're in here. And then go downstairs, crafting table, I added that in. So first of all the logs and also planks and stripped logs, all of the stairs and slabs, and then other miscellaneous wood blocks. Then here we've got the dirt variants, glass, then we've got leaves, then these two are leaf-like blocks, and then saplings, so they come from leaves. Then we've got like moss blocks, plants, and then here we have that, then mud blocks in here, and then farming things like potatoes in there. And then this is going to be mob drop chest, but I don't have any in here yet. And then here are my bone blocks. So that's our house complete. However, there's still just this empty water edge, which is no place for me to fish. I need a better place. So I think I want to transform this bit into a quick docks. So let's come over here. We can do a quick 12, and there we go. We have a nice dock area here with a few plants, and then down here I still need to put some ladders so we'll be able to get down into water. And now we have a much nicer place to use our fishing rod to fish. But anyway, I hope you liked this episode and be prepared with some more content on this island. Remember to subscribe. Goodbye. Just got to add in the ladders. And now it's done when we add these last two. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you made it this far, then of course why not subscribe, and hopefully more videos will be coming out pretty soon. Goodbye.